The Late Night Alternative with Iain Felix Diamond Lee on Talk Radio.
Everybody in the house next door, everybody on the ocean floor, everybody in the grocery store sing, oh, 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 oh. Everybody says the bacon bread, everybody feel the creeping dread, everybody going back to bed like me, I'm here to stay. Everybody taking online courses, everybody with the tiny horses, everybody do the unseen forces, oh, 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 oh. Everybody with the broken dreams, everybody on the big sport teams, everybody with the fake news memes in everybody on the Brooklyn Bridge, everybody with the privilege sing, oh, 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 oh. Everybody with a lonely heart, everybody sharing graphs and charts, everybody singing wherefore art thou, oh, 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 me out. I can take the easy route and say this is the way we've always been. Everybody who just lost their gig, everybody who is starting big, everybody gonna flip their wig like me. I'm going crazy. Everybody with the cable cut, everybody in the Pizza Hut, everybody is together but in isolation.
What are you beefing on about? Are you real? I like the mushy peas. Oh, God.
Everybody with a nice clean toe.
Flipping, eh?
Everybody with the filthy phone.
Am I talking to myself here?
Everybody staying home alone like me. I'm here to say
I've done a little garden.
everybody's gonna make some stuff.
Who the hell is Ginger
Everybody's
Baker?
gonna say enough.
It doesn't matter.
Everybody's gonna call their bluff in isolation.
Can you hear me, good dancing? Just shut your hell. Flipping, eh? Am I talking to myself here? What's the matter with it? Are you real? Please don't go. Oh, are you on both?
We now have... Oh, no, go away. Don't want that. We now have two bona fide... Got to wait a while for that reverb to start. I didn't know it was on. Sorry. We now have... I just like to play with the reverb while I'm sat here. So I sit
could
here
you leave it alone? You'll drop it off.
I know, but I just like sitting here before the show. I'm sitting here reading my Bruce Lee book. Here's a fun fact, guys. Bruce Lee had a friend whose first name was Ben. His last name was Der. D-E-R. Bruce Lee had a friend. Fun fact. Bruce Lee had a friend called Mr. Der. Ben Der. I mean, I know it's childish. It's probably homophobic. But it's also very, very funny. I read this last night. And I can't stop thinking about Bruce Lee's friend, Ben Der. We now have, as a direct result of coronavirus, COVID-19, 5G, 5G, you muppets. People have actually burnt down 5G masts. That's how thick people are. Boy, did Eamon dodge a bullet. Anyway, we now have, as a direct result of the coronavirus, two bona fide pop classics. We're all in this together. by Imani, and we have Isolation by Stephen Page there. Now, admittedly, the drops of Dave talking over the top, that was mine. I do think that's what's missing from Stephen's version. And I know he's had a number 1 in the Billboard charts, but I think my version is better, and so I'm going to send it to him, and if he doesn't adopt it, well, he can shove it up his arse!
Whoa.
Sorry, I've just gone a bit stir-crazy. My name's Iain Lee. Welcome to the Late Night Alternative. Who the hell are you, lady?
Well, you're not being completely truthful there, are you? Your name is not just Iain Lee.
Iain
you are...
Felix Diamond Lee. That's my name. That's my name. My kids came up with the name Iain Felix Diamond Lee, and I love it. I love it. Absolutely love it. I'm thrilled. What are your middle names, Catherine? Like, Susan Wallocks or something boring. Like Susan Wallocks is actually quite a good name.
S. Wallocks.
Swallocks.
Wow. No, my middle name is Elizabeth.
You've only got the one, have you?
Yeah, because I'm lucky to have one at all, because my mother didn't have a middle name. It's not from our family background.
Honestly, it's the most fun, right? I haven't changed mine by default yet, because you have to have 2 witnesses now, and obviously with lockdown we can't really have witnesses. But I looked at it today, but it's definitely going to happen. Get the girls to give you 2 middle names.
No, because my children are insane, and I'm quite happy as I am. But well done for you and Felix Diamond. Can I just
say, by the way, guys, that I in no way wish to thank the management of Talk Radio, but this will be the first show we have done since lockdown where there's hardly any delay between us, Catherine, because me, you and Sam, just by having a conversation... realised there was a better way of doing the radio show than we've been doing it for the last 5 weeks.
Yeah, who knew? Apparently everyone.
Absolute winkers. Everyone knew. Everyone knew. Flipping hell.
Sabotage, that's what it is.
Welcome to the show. It is, I'll tell you, who even knows what day it is? Let me have a look. I've got it written down somewhere. Hang on. It's Monday. Like that means anything anymore. Friday's show was a real doozy. Straight to air. I've never had, in 15, 16 years, 17 years of doing straight to air, Catherine, I've never had a show that was as bleak as that. Pretty much all the way through. That was a dark show. And I'm not in any way complaining. That just, to me, tells me the mood of the nation.
Yeah, I mean, normally it's just me and you kind of on the end of the phone. I think the devil might have been involved somewhere on Friday. It was certainly very dark at times. Very dark indeed.
Anyway, we enjoyed it. So we decided that for the next few weeks, probably for the duration of lockdown, which is going to be, well, at least 3 weeks, I suspect another 6 possibly, I don't know, but maybe even longer. But for the duration of lockdown, we're going to make Fridays straight to air. 10 till 1, Fridays for the duration of lockdown, and maybe beyond, we'll see. We're going to make that straight to air because I think it is a canary in a coal mine, and I think once we have no scientific evidence to back this up, just experience, guys, experience. Once we start getting more positive, fun straight to air shows, I think that means that we're on an upward curve as a nation.
We should draw a graph, shouldn't we?
Yeah, we should. We should draw a graph. A graph. Let's go draw a graph. Grandad, can I play on the coal bunker and then draw a graph?
Felix Diamond.
That's my name. You can, and here's the thing: it's platinum coated, so you can say it as many times as you want, and it will not wear out. You are unable to wear it out.
Oh dear. Well, it's very nice. I'm glad you've had a little a shine up
I had 2 tweets from Miranda Sawyer regarding it. So, yeah, the big wigs.
Yeah. She thinks that you're being a worse and you should just change your name completely and be done with
it. The people that we have been trying to impress for not the losers that listen to this rubbish, the intellectuals, the cool kids in the upper sixth that we have been trying to impress from down here in the fourth form are they're finally starting to take notice of all of the mediocre work that we're doing, Catherine. And all
we had to do was dance harder.
Don't forget, Bruce Lee had a friend called Ben Durr. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. You know the rules, anything goes. I've looked online for stories, and there aren't many. I've got a couple. There's one about sex toys and stuff. There aren't many fun... I don't know if you had a similar... problem, Catherine. There aren't many fun stories out there, are there?
I found one about Stonehenge. I found one about sandwiches, and I found out about a man who locked himself in a restaurant and cleaned them out. But apart from that, not an awful lot of fun being had out there.
Okay, okie dokie. I have got one about sex toys. I have got one about headphones. It's not even that good a story, actually. Oh. I've got one about bungling council workmen.
Beautiful.
And people who are having affairs whilst on lockdown. So there could be some tips in there. Could be some
just a tip, though.
0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. This is the late night alternative, sans delay, avec le giggle on Talk Radio.
The late night alternative with Iain Felix Diamond Lee on Talk Radio.
I like that voiceover guy, Kath. He got gravitas.
Who is that voiceover guy?
I don't know. Who is that voiceover guy, Sammy Sams?
That's Chris, Dan's assistant producer.
Dan's assistant producer. Okay, a couple of questions. Who's Dan? Oh, Dan Wooten.
Yeah.
Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton's got some sad news for country music fans. Dolly Parton's been diagnosed with the coronavirus, and it looks fabulous on her. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. First call of the night. First cab off the rank. Yay, it's the first night bus home. It's Iain.
Hello?
Yes?
Oh, yeah. I phoned you the other night regarding the China virus, and you cut me off. And
you're the horrible thick old racist. Yes, Iain, it's so wonderful to have you back. What nonsense bilge would you like to spit out of your mouth hole tonight?
No, I'm not a racist.
You can't call it the Chinese Iain, my show, my rules. My show, well, you can, but you can't call it on this show. I won't allow it on this show. If you do it on this show, I'll cut you off. It's that simple. So you can do it in your personal life. You can do it with your horrible thick friends. But I will not allow you to do it on my show. The virus has a name. It's the coronavirus. And the disease has a name, COVID-19. I accept your apology, Iain. I accept your apology.
Ian Collins.
This is Iain. This is not the Ian Collins show. This is the Iain and Catherine show. I decide what you can and can't say. I will not... Turn his fader down. Turn his fader down. Dear God. Iain, I will come back to you in a second, but I think everybody needs to just calm down. Catherine, first cab off the rank, and he's a twallock.
So first cab on the rank is the one that we put the mockers on Friday, and yet he wants to come back for more.
Dear. Yes,
this is not going to work, by the way. You can't come back and insist. That's not the way it works.
You can call it the China virus if you want, but not on my show. Do it with your thick, dumb friends. Do it with the people who are easily led by the giant potato in America, Donald Trump. You can do that. You can't do it on my show, mate.
Ask yourself why it's so important that you call it something different to almost everybody else.
Okay. Should we bring him back into the conversation?
Ask him that.
Iain.
Yes. Hello?
Yes, hello. Gosh, you're not bright, are you? Yes, Iain.
Well, I think I'm quite bright, but there you go.
Mate, let me tell you, you ain't. But carry on. What dumb point would you like to make tonight, Ian? He's gone. Well, that's how bright he is. He couldn't even sustain a phone call. He's gone. Oh, man. So
the things people dig their heels in about now, when people are dying, now, that's the thing he wants to dig his heels in about.
So when these bands, I saw hardly any of the One World, One Vision, True Love, Big Up Respect concert. What I did see, Paul McCartney filmed in portrait. Mm-hmm. So I didn't watch it. I love Paul McCartney. I couldn't watch it. It's filmed in portrait.
I didn't see any of it, but I did get a text message from my dad that said, watching this stay-at-home concert, shite.
Okay. I did see Elton John.
And how was it?
Ooh, dear. It was strained. But the bit I really saw the Elton John bit was awful. The bit I really saw was the Rolling Stones, who sounded all right. I'm not a great Stones fan, but they played "You Can't Always Get What You Want," which I quite like. I think it's a nice song. But they were miming, right? Or it was recorded separately because Charlie Watts didn't have any drums. But he was playing the drum. He was sat on a box doing the air drums. Oh. But you could hear the drums. Have I got this right, dear listener? You could hear the drums, but he was doing air drums. Could you hear? Maybe you. I've confused myself now. Maybe you couldn't hear the drums. 0344 499 1000. I just think when it's bands doing it separately, I don't think those bits are live. I don't think that the trouble we've had having a conversation live, right, with the delay. And if we then bring in a Skype call, we're screwed. The instruction we give to any guests we've had on Skype is, look, if you start talking and you hear one of us talk, just power on. Everyone just power on, someone will give way. And it sort of worked most of the time. But so imagine playing a song like that, Catherine. It wouldn't be possible.
No.
Okay, great feedback.
I think, it's great to try and put on a show for everybody, but it has to be slightly better than what we could do ourselves with a mirror. Just a bit. And I know America did it because the Backstreet Boys did a really good version of I Want It That Way, and I found it quite moving. But there were bits in that were clearly miming. Don't be quite so obvious about it is what I would suggest.
I've told Stephen Page what I did to his song, and he's replied,
I saw.
You know how much I love Luton. Wowzers. 0344 499 1000. Just quickly going back to that first call, if you're a new listener and you may think that was a bit harsh, that was kind of a carry-on from a call last week. We're trying to entertain you while all this is going on, and it's not always easy, because me and Kath are human beings going through this as well. I had a terrible weekend. Really, really lousy weekend. I'll tell you about that a bit later on. That'll be fun. Huh? That'll be fun, won't it? That'll be fun. My God, it was dark. But we're trying to have a laugh, okay? And we're trying to avoid the dreaded lurgy. If you want to call in about the dreaded lurgy, you're very, very welcome to. But, we're trying to avoid it. If you want to, then do it. It's the big thing. But what we won't allow is thick, we won't allow lies, we won't allow nonsense. I want your stories and we want facts, but we won't allow lies, and we won't also allow for the lazy generalization of calling it the Chinese flu and all of that. Now, listen, one or two of the world's leaders, I believe the leader of France, Hercule Poirot, and the leader of Germany, I don't remember her name, they have both said that maybe China's not quite the China virus is racist, but the Spanish flu is history. The coconut cabbie, is that you again? Are you the guy that we've spoken? Dude, we've spoken to you before. You are so thick. Call in 0344 499 1000. Right. Listen to this. We've had this guy on before. Remember him? Yeah. The China virus is racist, but Spanish flu is history. Do you know why it's called the Spanish flu? You thick cabbie. Do you know why? He then goes on to say, and report this tweet, guys, it's homophobic. Ricky Gervais was the only positive off the 11 o'clock show. This weird, unfunny, gayish dude on talk radio ruins all the good work Mike Graham does at 10 a.m. Mike Graham's a great presenter, the Coconut Cabbie. But this is the second time you've messed with me. And do you remember the first... You're probably texting this while he's driving again, which is illegal. Do you remember the first time? You ran away scared like a little baby. You ran away. Not like a baby, because babies don't run. You ran away scared like a baby sheep, a lamb. That's it. You ran away scared like a little lamb because I reported you to the police for breaking the law. Cabbie, phone up or get stuffed. You're too thick to deal with me. You're too thick to deal with me. Let's go to Joe. Good evening, Joe.
Good evening, Ian. Good evening, Kath.
Hey, Joe.
What have you got for us, Joe? What have you got for us?
Right. I'm phoning up to say welcome, brother, because my second name is Diamond.
Yes, man! This is it! Extended families. Has it... Now, were you born with that name?
I was, and I was on your first Zoom lunch.
Oh, okie dokie. What did you do?
And you spotted my name, and you said, that's a cool name.
Oh, there you go. There you go. This is wonderful. This is wonderful.
Just to say you'll be receiving the confirmation pack in the post for the Diamond name.
The diamonds, we all get treated with love and indeed respect. I cannot wait. What's it like being a diamond? This is only like my third or fourth day of it, and I'm loving it.
Oh, it's unbelievable, Ian.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
You're part of the South East London Diamonds now. You know that.
Oh, okay, beautiful.
Being from
Thank you.
Ruskin Street, wasn't it?
John Ruskin Street is where my family came from. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
I was from Browning Street.
Oh, there you go. You see, it all
round the
links up,
corner.
Joe. But when this coronavirus is over, I will be coming round and I will be eating your food.
You'll have to come a long way. I'm in the Republic of Ireland.
Sorry, have I what?
I'm in Southern Ireland.
I'll come over there, mate. I'll come over. I'm going to travel the world. Joe, thank you. 0344 499 1000. Oh, unfortunately, the cabbie's deleted his tweet, Catherine.
Oh, he did that last time, didn't he? I wonder what it is about him that means that he is so trigger happy and then immediately regrets it. Is it a lack of control? Temper?
Put
Booze?
down the bottle.
Oh, last time he was
wine.
driving, wasn't he?
Yeah. Put down the bottle of wine, my friend. Put down the bottle of cheap beer. You think you're a tough guy, really a shy guy. You'll never beat me, my dear. Coconut Cabbie is as thick as they come.
Seeing as he brought up history, should we talk about this Spanish flu thing? The
No.
reason it was...
Don't, because listen, you know why it was called the Spanish flu.
Yeah.
I know why it was called the Spanish flu. If he calls up, we'll explain it to him. But whatever we say to him, it will not go in his head because he can never be wrong. Intelligent people know why it's called that and why it's different from calling this the Chinese flu. We know why.
Yeah.
He's not up to our standard.
I bet he doesn't listen to Julio Iglesias or anything. Still furious about it.
I bet he doesn't listen to All Night Long, All Night. Ooh, all night long, all night. Oh, all night long, all night. Yeah, all night long, all night. That's a great song, isn't it?
Why?
What do you mean?
Well, why wouldn't he listen to that?
Because he doesn't know good music when it comes and smacks him in the face. That's a great song.
Okay. Yeah,
Are you telling me All Night Long by Lionel Richie is not a great song?
Yeah, but I didn't understand what the connection would be between that and Spain.
Oh, no, there's no connection between.
What I was driving at. You took it and ran.
Well, I know you were, but
you
you started with Julio Iglesias.
Yeah.
And then it just reminded me of just good music in general.
Yeah, bet he thinks it's all gayish. Don't want that. Gayish.
Gay. By the way, gayish is an excellent description of bisexuality. That is gayish. 0344 499 1000. This is Talk Radio.
The Late Night Alternative with Ian Felix Diamond Lee on Talk Radio.
0344 499 1000. Let's just duck and just run. Let's go to Alan. Good evening, Alan.
Evening, boss. Evening, Kath.
Hiya.
I didn't know your middle name was Felix Diamond.
Sorry?
I just heard a new jingle. Late Night Alternative with Ian Felix Diamond Lee.
Well, if you listen to the radio show, as we know you don't, you'd have found that out last week. But never mind. What can we do for you?
I found out on Wikipedia.
It is on Wikipedia now, I believe.
Have they been updating your page?
Yeah, well, yes.
And also, I've got an interesting question.
I bet it isn't.
I wonder what happened to Lee MacDonald from Grange Hill.
He worked in he was a key cutter for a while, wasn't he? And then he came back and did some acting work.
I think he listens to this show, so maybe he'll phone us up.
Yeah, he's probably in lockdown, mate.
Did he get the key to lock the door for lockdown?
No, I don't think you don't need to lock the door for lockdown. You just push the door shut.
But I thought Boris said when we were in lockdown 4 weeks ago, we had to lock all the doors.
If you love Boris Johnson so much, why don't you go marry him? I can't wait. I can't wait for Boris Johnson to be tried for manslaughter. I can't wait for Cummings and Johnson to be tried for manslaughter. Bring that on. Bring it on.
What about Dominic Webb as an accomplice?
No, I'm talking about those two. I'm being deadly serious. Bring it on. When this is done, let's get them arrested. Let's charge them with manslaughter, because the way they've handled this is absolutely awful.
And give them a life sentence.
No, put them through the courts properly, and whatever the court decides.
No, I mean, how long do you reckon they'll get for manslaughter?
Alan, I'm not doing a piece. I'm being serious. I want them arrested. I want them arrested. I don't know what the sentence is for manslaughter, but I want them arrested and I want them charged, because it is becoming clearer by the moment that they were ill-equipped for this and have been dishonest about this.
Yeah, and the problem was, I think the problem was back in December when we voted Boris in at the general election.
Okay. 0344 499 1000 is the phone number. I just realised what I was doing there, Catherine, and
no point.
it was pointless. I'm being told that the drummer from the Rolling Stones may have been using a virtual drum kit, i.e., those sticks that you get for Christmas presents, where when you hit different things, they make different noises.
Oh, like Invisi-snare.
Invisi-snare. He may have been playing the Invisi-snare. and the Y-hat. Let's go.
I can play that. I'm really good at it.
Let's go to Anthony. Good evening, Anthony.
Good evening, Ian and Kath. How are you both?
I'm stopping this question. I really am stopping this question. Stop, everyone. And I did this last time with you, Anthony. Everyone stop asking that question. I'll tell you how I am. Put his fader down. I'll tell you how I am, dear listener. I'm shit. I'm really shit. I really struggled. I was going mad last week, right? And this weekend, I've not really told you about this, Kath, but this weekend, I really struggled with staying sober and clean. I didn't have anything in the house, but I really struggled with staying sober and clean and just thinking, I just got into a mindset of thinking, well, you know what? Some booze and some drugs would actually make this thing okay. That's insane, junky thinking. And Saturday I was just miserable, and luckily when I'm miserable I'm really good at making myself sleep a lot. I can make myself sleep, so I slept a lot. And then Sunday I just felt so sad that that's where my head, as soon as my boys went home with their mum, that's where my head went, thinking, drugs and alcohol, that would be great. So on Sunday I got busy, I cooked some food, I cleaned the house a little bit, and today, man, I'm in there. Today I'm back in there, and I'm working a program, and I've done 2. I woke up at 9:15, and I thought, I've got another crap day in lockdown. I looked at my phone and I saw that there was an AA meeting in 15 minutes. Boom, I'm up, fed the cats, made a pot of coffee, and I went into that meeting, and I sat in that meeting, and I told them exactly how I was been feeling at the weekend. I did it on Sunday as well, and I spoke to my sponsor, and then there was another meeting this afternoon. Boom, 2 meetings. I've booked a session with my therapist tomorrow. I had a really nice session chat with my sponsor yesterday, because I was reminded how wafer thin my sobriety is. It's Rizzler, it's blue Rizzler paper thin. And if I am left on my own, which is what I have to do because we are in lockdown, I go nuts, and behaviour that is dangerous and is lethal to me becomes really attractive and really, really sexy. So while I didn't have a drink, while I didn't have a drug on Saturday, I was kind of white-knuckling it, which is dumb. And I should have told you about it, Kath, and I didn't, because I was insane. You knew there was something going on. And I didn't say anything because I was so full of shame and guilt. But then Sunday, boom, right, I got to do stuff. Today, boom, I'm up, and I've been in meetings, and I've shared in meetings. And I spoke to my sponsor and I said, man, this is what I'm going through. This is what I'm thinking. And he talked me off the ledge. And I spoke to my therapist and he talked me off the ledge. And boom, 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 boom. I'm going absolutely nuts. That's how I'm doing, Anthony. How are you?
I'm good, Dan. I do apologise. I forgot.
Okay, thank you. Kath, you were going to say something.
No, I just know certain things with you. You went very, very quiet, and you say certain things that you say to me. When you start saying to me that you don't see the point, then that's kind of when you end up in limbo land, and anything might go. And so I knew there was something up, and I'm very glad that you kept with the programme and remembered that your sobriety is really bloody important.
It was awful, Kath. It was awful, and I couldn't tell you about it because I felt so ashamed that I was having... And thank you, Coconut Cabby. I appreciate that, and you're a bellend as well. But thank you. He's just sent a nice text. But I just felt so ashamed that that's where my head was gone, and I just kept thinking, oh, I'll go in a bit, and it didn't. And I was white knuckling. And if I had... No, well, I was going to say if I had a way of getting drugs, I would have got some. And actually, that's not true because I probably could have found ways. But
if you'd been able to get out, you would have.
Yeah. And it was that's where I'm going. I've been insane, and looking back, I was going more and more insane as the week went on last week. Mm-hmm. And so today I've come at it with renewed energy. I'm going to do a meeting every single day, at least one meeting. I did 2 today. I found this brilliant, my sponsor recommended this brilliant meditation app, dear listener, Insight Timer. It's brilliant, right? And it's all these different meditations, and I've dipped in there and I've done 2. One was great. The one today was not so good. It ended up with this guy going, sleep, go to sleep. And he kept saying...
Sounds like what my mum used to say to me. I didn't realise that was meditation.
He was like a Cockney geezer, right? Trying to sound posh. And it's just dawned on me that when you get a word and you put the letter Y at the end of it, it sounds really childish, because he kept going, you're feeling sleepy. You're getting sleepy. And every time he said sleepy, I thought, oh, that's like such a babyish word. Give me any word, Catherine, and end it with a Y, and it sounds like a baby word.
Yeah, you're right.
They all sound like baby words. Sleepy. You're feeling sleep. You're naughty. You're very, very naughty. You're sexy. You're sexy. You're naughty, sleepy, and sexy. Anyway, Anthony, phone up with your words that end in Y. 0344 499 1000. Yes, Anthony.
Ian, obviously I split my girlfriend on January the 1st, obviously, and I still find it hard to cope sometimes because so many emotions and because the memories going back in the past.
Yes.
And I still struggle to think about her and not being here and that. And what can I do? Can I talk
to your friends?
Talk
to your friend. You need to talk to your friends about it, because we have spoken about it, and I'm grateful that you feel you can phone me up and share this with me.
Sorry.
No, I don't know what you're apologising for. I just said I'm grateful that you phone up and you feel you can do that, but you need to talk to your friends. You need to share this with people that you know. Who will be able to offer you very specific suggestions, or not even offer suggestions. A friend can sit on the end of a phone for an hour while you cry and say how crap everything is. I can't do that because I got Lee coming up, and then we've got callers. I can't really do that, but a friend can do that. You know, I just feel like I keep repeating the same thing over and over again. It will get better with time.
Yeah, that's cool. Guess what's coming tomorrow?
More misery and death rates. I don't know what's coming tomorrow.
No, a pussycat's coming tomorrow.
Here we go, Anthony. Boy or a girl?
A girl, and her name will be what?
Her name will be what?
Have a guess what her name was going to be.
Steve? I don't know.
Your other producer.
Agent Chris.
We're going to call it Kathy.
Yeah, like Kathy, my producer, who I used to work with before I met Catherine.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, Anthony, your life, thank you, 0344 499 1000 is about to get a whole lot better. And let's be honest, stinkier. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. This is Talk Radio.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Oh my God, what is the point in carrying on? Let's go to Jane. Good evening, Jane.
Hello, how are you?
Jane, what have you got for us?
I've just been to an online meeting this evening.
How'd it go?
Really well, yeah. I do a couple a week now. It's a bit sad on the television, on the news earlier tonight, because on the actual news they were interviewing people who were having trouble with mental health, etc., etc. And they talked to this chap who's an alcoholic, and he goes to meetings, etc. But he was saying, "Oh, it's awful. We haven't got any meetings, and I'm missing my meetings, and I'm, living with my head and all this sort of thing." And nobody put him right on there to say, well, there are online meetings or what have you. And of course, a lot of people out there are suffering. It's really sad. They don't always understand that there's a helpline and all the rest of it. I mean, we're the lucky ones if we've got a 12-step program because, hopefully we're practicing acceptance and tolerance and everything's the way it's meant to be. And even if we have crap days, we do know that nothing ever lasts, does it?
Yeah, I often think that people who are working a 12-step program have a slight advantage, sometimes a significant advantage over people that don't work a program when things are normal. And I do think it's definitely helpful during this. I'm going to be completely honest with you, Jane. This is a program of honesty. I don't like the online meetings. No. I'm grateful that they're there, and I'm going to cling on to them. But I don't like them. I can't explain it any better than, for me, the magic isn't there. It's more of a technical experience, whereas going, making the effort of getting in my car and driving for half an hour to a meeting and then sitting in a room full of people, there is a tangible magic that permeates the room. It's a physical presence. Thank you. And I'm just not finding that in the Zoom meetings. But I'm grateful that they're there, and I'm going to go to them. But it's not the same for me.
Because if they weren't there, imagine where your head would be, etc., etc., And I'm in touch every day with my sponsor, and we have a joke and different things going on. If things crop up, she always says to me, "What's that word beginning with A?" And I say, "I know, it's not arseholes, it's acceptance." Yeah. And we have a bit of a laugh, and it's absolutely true, because everything is the way it's meant to be. And, as we know in the Serenity Prayer, change the things you can and understand you can't change everything, and not everything is your business, I've learned an awful lot since I've been working this program properly for the last 4 years. Because I messed about for a few years thinking I knew it all, and I didn't really understand about the steps. And I did start the steps, and I got past 5, and I thought, oh, I know what's what. But, when I went back and did the steps properly with my sponsor I've got now, it was such a shock to me when I got to 6 and 7 to realise that I had to change. And with that change then came an understanding of what the program's about, and things got easier. And I'm just so grateful that I, worked really hard with her and got where I am today, because I wouldn't be coping very well. I mean, I'm 73 and I got run over a couple of weeks ago by a reversing, I'll call him a dickhead, but anyway. I'm sorry, but...
What happened?
It's not very ladylike talk. Well, I was out on my half-hour little exercise we're allowed, and I live at Russell, and we just walked through past a car park outside some shops, and we just walked along a little grass verge, and she stopped her a sniff in the hedge. And this fella came out of the car park, and instead of reversing and then pulling forward into the road, he just kept coming backwards, and he hit me and knocked me into a ditch. And obviously my higher power was with me, because he ran over the ditch, but he didn't actually break any bones. I just had very bad bruising, and the Jack Russell was safe, but they pulled me out and I had to go to hospital and everything. But I'm still suffering with a lot of swelling and bruises. But they said, tough old bird, they said to me in hospital. And they checked out I didn't have the virus or anything and sent me home.
This is why I don't do the exercise. I had a house party. This is another thing I did today to be positive. I did a little house party chat with a couple of friends for an hour, and they said, "Are you doing any exercise?" I went, "Of course not." And now, Jane, I can cite you as the perfect reason why I should not leave this house.
But you see, my higher power is with me, because this fellow, I mean, he could have killed us, but he made me go into a ditch and then ran me over in the ditch. So, you know, luckily it wasn't filled, it was just filled with mud, but luckily it wasn't sort of 2 feet of water or anything. Yes. But I came out of there, and all I could think about, people were saying, aren't you cross, aren't you this, aren't you that? I said, you know, I am so full of gratitude that it happened where it did, and that we were both safe. And I said, I've got to look on the good side of things. I can't keep moaning and complaining. I'm just happy that he was looking after me. And I feel that all the time, actually, if ever I've got into scrapes in the past, you know. I know there's always been something looking after me there, because I could have been dead quite a few times. Yeah,
thanks for sharing,
I'm very
Jane.
grateful.
I really
it's lovely to hear you, and it's so nice to know that you're on here and that you've been through all this business like we have.
Yeah.
You know, before people come to AA meetings, they always tend to think it's going to be full of old men in dirty raincoats with string around their middles. And they get in there and they see sort of middle-aged, elderly ladies as well.
Yeah, yeah.
They see, I've got 4 friends who are GPs that go. There's a vicar, quite a few, there's an airline pilot, would you believe? And, you know, all kinds from all walks of life. And people get in there and they see well-dressed people smiling, and they can't believe it. And we say, well, if you came in here and we were a filthy bunch all complaining, you wouldn't think much of recovery. But when you see how we've tackled it, you know, what happened to us, how we dealt with it, and how we are today, it does encourage people to come back, you know. So, and as you know yourself, a lot of people get frightened off by the God word, but you've just got to believe it, that you're not God. There's something out there bigger than you. And if you can comprehend that and accept that at one time your God was the bottle, what was in that bottle, you know there's something bigger than us. And, you know, I'll just add this very quickly, it was a real big shock to me when I learned from my sponsor. She said to me, alcohol is not your problem, it's your thinking. And so I took that on board, because it is. It would have been anything with me. I was on prescription drugs for a long time. I was on amphetamines for about 20 years on prescription. Because in the 70s, they used to give us those as
diet pills. My mum was on those. Me and my sister looked back in the 70s and 80s and wondered how mum did so much housework. She was on speed from the doctor.
Me, yeah, and we were mowing the lawn 10 o'clock at night, going all day without eating.
Yeah.
What a shock when they took us off those and stopped prescribing them.
Yeah.
Then, in all innocence, you don't realise, you start looking for other things. But you see, I didn't drink from a young age, and I didn't go drinking, you know, in my middle years. But what actually did for me was my illness was triggered off by a series of really bad bereavements. My mum died of motor neurone disease, then I lost my brother suddenly. But they weren't the reason I drank. They were incidents that triggered off the illness I had. And that's the thing, 'cause people used to say, oh, well, anybody would drink in those circumstances. No, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't. And the thing is, a lot of people have a drink to feel better, but they can put the drink down if they're not an alcoholic. An alcoholic can't put the drink down. Once you've had that first one, it triggers the next and the next and the next. And once I understood about the first drink, about the acceptance, about understanding about the higher power, and that it was all down to my head, how I dealt with life, things have been so much easier. And as I say, even getting floored by this knobhead in this car, and obviously it was what do you call it, automatic, because he just kept on revving up and reversing. So anyway, we're leaving all that to the police and the what have you, and the insurance people now. So yeah, so there we go. Anyway,
what a lovely
nice
call,
to talk
Jane.
to you.
Yeah, thank you so much for your call. You've really inspired me. And stay safe.
You, and keep at it, and keep that gratitude going.
Thank you, Jane. Thanks very much. What a lovely call, Catherine. Perfect.
She was great.
She was great. The language was outrageous.
Oh, I like that especially.
What a lovely call. That's really inspiring. Thank you. Let's go to Lee. Good evening, Lee.
Hi.
Hi. Sounds like someone's being tortured.
I've forgotten what I wanted to talk about, actually.
From one extreme to the other. Yeah. Wowzers. Before and after, or after and before? Lee, what's going on in the background? Are you watching a porno, or is someone being murdered?
No, I think my wife is watching, it might be Outlander. Have you seen Outlander?
No. Is that made by the same people that made Zoolander and Highlander?
No, Zoolander obviously was a gay parody, I think it's called.
A gay parody?
A gay parody, wow. Okay.
What was Highlander using your vernacular? A Scottish parody?
It was also gay, I think.
What can we do for you tonight, Lee? Apart from make you a strong coffee.
That would be nice.
Wouldn't it? That sounds like a porno.
Pardon?
What can we do for you, Lee? Sorry, it's a bit difficult for you to hear us because your wife's porno's too loud. But we'll speak as loud as we can. What can we do for you, Lee?
Not much. Just chatting is cool.
Okay, what would you like to chat about?
I don't know. I'm finding this hard.
The phone call?
No, the lock-in thing.
The lock-in. I think you'd love a lock-in, but the lockdown. Why? I think a lot of people are finding it very hard, Lee. You're not alone. That music. Is it because your wife has the TV too loud? Hello?
She's deaf, so...
Huh?
She's deaf. Yeah, funny.
Thank you.
No, she's deaf.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry that you're struggling so much. It must be difficult. Well, I know it's difficult. It's difficult for everyone, man. I'm sorry you're struggling, and I hope things get easier, Lee. Thank you. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. Is there any joke finer, Catherine, than someone makes a reference about being deaf and you go, huh?
I know that's one of your favourites.
Oh, my boys love it. And my youngest has got to the stage now where I'll go, pardon? And he'll start to repeat himself, and then he'll go, oh, I know what you just did. It's my favourite joke. Because you can't really do Chinese dentist time anymore.
No, apparently it's frowned upon.
Yeah, very much so.
But not by some of our listeners, it would appear.
Listen, I am, at the moment, I'm more than happy to buy the wet market theory, right? I'm happy to buy the theory of the wet market.
Right.
I'm happy to buy that theory. The 5G thing is out the window. That's gone. Right? That's gone. But I would like there to be a full and proper investigation, because I still can't quite get my head around how someone doing it with a bat does this. And does this sound... I don't want to sound conspiracy theory, but sometimes I think of things. I think, oh God, am I nuts? Am I am I an Alex Jones listener? But I can't get out of my head the fact that there is a there is a virus lab in Wuhan. I can't get that out of my head, and I cannot. I don't think there's any evidence to back this up. So I cannot dismiss that this is a laboratory, that this thing came from a laboratory. I can't dismiss that. And
I know what you mean. I find it very unusual that I find it. I don't really understand why the Chinese government would try to shut down as many doctors as it did when they were trying to blow the whistle, unless someone is to blame.
Yeah.
That they're protecting. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. If it's just an unhappy biological accident, in a market, that's one thing. But it feels like there's power behind it.
And I don't want to be one of those, well, you know, the 5G thing, because 5G is nonsense, right? 5G is nonsense.
Yeah, and also it leads to idiots downing, masts that serve the emergency services. So let's not play that game.
But I can't get out of my head that this could have come from a laboratory. I have no evidence to back that up. And maybe if you're listening to this and you know that what I'm saying is nonsense, please phone me up and tell me why it's nonsense. I would love a really convincing argument as to why me thinking, well, maybe it was a laboratory thing. I would love a convincing argument as to why that is nonsense, please. And I'm not doing that to create a radio argument. I genuinely think I'm sounding like a paranoid conspiracy freak. But also, I mean, we've had Angela Merkel and the French dude, Macron. Is Macron the French dude, or is he the Canadian dude?
Emmanuel Macron.
They have both said that China's not quite telling us everything, or they've certainly hinted at that in the last couple of days.
I don't think that's controversial.
No, I don't think it is, and I think there has been some. I don't know. Something is not quite right, and I can't quite grasp it. A bat in a market, it doesn't. But then I don't know. I don't know biology. I don't know basic scientific facts. So I don't know. You know, are we sounding like the people that? Do you remember AIDS came from either someone doing it with a monkey, or it came from a laboratory in New York? That was a big one, wasn't it? It came from a laboratory in New York. That was a big old thing in the 80s. You may not remember that. You might have been a bit too young for that, but that was certainly doing the rounds. And maybe I sound like the AIDS comes from a laboratory in New York people.
I think that actually it's sensible to admit that we know very little about what's going on at the moment, and questioning things is not. I don't think questioning things is unreasonable.
But then I know we're late for the news. But then saying I agree, but then shutting down the 5G people. They're questioning things, aren't they? They're just questioning things. I'm playing devil's advocate ever so slightly.
They are, but there is a scientific response to it, and they will not hear it. Okay. That's the difference.
Right. Yeah. Funny old world, isn't it? Right, let's take a break. 0344 499 1000. Scott, stay there, please. I know you've been waiting exactly 11 minutes. You're going to have to wait a few more if you don't mind. This is the Late Night Alternative. Ian and Kath, weeknights from 10 on Talk Radio.
Late Night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Crossing you in style someday. You dream maker, you heartbreaker. Wherever you're going, I'm going your way. Two drifters off to see the world. There's such a lot of world to see. We're after the same rainbow's end, waiting round the bend, my huckleberry friend. Moon, river, and me. There's such a lot of world to see. We're after the same rain. riding round the bend, my huckleberry friend, Moon River and me. It's you and me.
That's some album, man. American Standard, James Taylor. It's just... And doesn't Moon River by James Taylor sound exactly how you'd imagine Moon River by James Taylor would sound? My youngest, a week ago, was here and he had a really bad headache. And I gave him a bath and it didn't quite work, and he got into bed with me, and he just couldn't rest, and he just couldn't relax. So we turned the lights off, we lit a candle, I put that album on, and I stroked his forehead. Boom, he was gone. He was out. Isn't that lovely, Catherine?
It's beautiful. I love James Taylor. I love Carly Simon. When I was about 19, maybe 18, my mum and dad took, it's like the last holiday we went on together as a family. We went to New England. And we drove all around. Dad was doing it for a travel piece for the newspaper he was working for. So we were staying at all these old whaling cottages and stuff, out of the way, you know, no hotels or anything like that. It's totally, you know, the place looked like that song sounded. It was just like long nights where you heard the crickets and there were rivers, and it was just beautiful. And we went to Martha's Vineyard, which is a place where they hang out an awful lot. And I think the Taylor kids have got a bar or something called Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. Yeah, they're a big presence there, and it was just the coolest place. And it's the sort of place I can imagine being an old woman and like being an old hippie. It was just wonderful.
You have, I've known you for like 8 years, and I thought I knew you pretty well. But it turns out you have a secret skill that I didn't know anything about, and it turns out you're really good at it. BJ's. No, I'm joking. What
did you just say?
I couldn't resist it. I'm really sorry. There was an opening there, and I just had to go for it. No. There was, the pause was just long enough, and I just thought, no, Ian, please. Oh, you said it. You said it. Painting.
Yeah.
Like
I used to paint a long time ago, and I haven't painted for ages because I haven't had the time.
And you said you were going to do it, and I was, I'm all up for everyone in undertaking artistic endeavours. Yeah. But I did with the greatest of respect. I thought they were going to be rubbish, and then you posted one, and we've posted two now. They're incredible.
They're not incredible. They're all right, and
no, they're not all right. They're really good.
They're not as good as they will be when I've had a few practices, but I enjoyed it, and I'd forgotten. See, I used to paint years and years ago when I was a student, and I lived, this is like the height of privilege, but I was a student in Paris where everything was paid for, my course and everything. It was the Erasmus scheme. Do you remember the European Union? That was a really good thing that they did. They allowed kids that I couldn't afford a year out or anything like that, so I got sent, as part of my course, I was doing languages. I got sent over to Paris for a while, and it was not as romantic as it sounds. Well, not for me, it wasn't. Some of the perverts on the metro had a lovely time at my expense, but I couldn't really afford to go out very much or eat very much. So I tried to find something I could do to while away the hours that wouldn't involve a lot of money. So I bought myself some paints, and I used to paint a little bit there, but then I got some money and some time, and the paints went back in the box, and I never thought about it again until quite recently. So yeah.
I know.
So oh yes. So alors, I decided to take the paints from the box, and I'd have a little dabble with the help of YouTube. And the good thing about YouTube now is that it has many very talented artists doing the tutorial.
Let me just turn the lights off.
Them and it turns okay.
I've got all the lights on here. Let me just get in darkness while you do this. Go on.
It's really relaxing. It's really relaxing.
No, en français.
Well, I'm not really speaking French. I'm just doing a French accent. But
yeah,
okay,
if
you want me to speak like this, I'll speak like this. So last week I ordered some paint, and of course it is not essential, so it took some time. in the time it took for the paint to arrive, I've been watching a lot of YouTube and been getting quite inspired. And so when it arrived, I had a lot of painting in me. And I've been doing some paintings and they've been turning out not shit. And I love it. It's just so relaxing and you know, kind of meditative and stuff and all that stuff that people like me are not supposed to be able to do.
Music's nice, isn't it?
It's very nice. I like it.
I can't paint. I can't do anything.
You probably can.
No, I can't. I remember once Mackenzie Crook, who is an incredible artist, and I were going to do some painting, right? It's going to be for like a prop for a show we're going to do in Edinburgh. And we had these big sheets of paper, like massive sheets of paper. And I'm going to okay, we were tripping on LSD. And he did this incredibly ornate, you know, psychedelic mural. And in the middle of this huge sheet of paper, I drew like a really small tree and like a tiny monkey.
Oh.
But it was rubbish. It was rubbish. And then we incorporated that into. We did actually use my picture in the show, in a slideshow, as a song called "Would You Believe It?" And there was a line, tiny little monkey climbing up a tree. But I can't paint or draw to save my life. It's awful.
Well, you think you can't, but there are loads of really clever people that you can copy.
I can't. Well, no, I can't. First of all, I don't copy. I never copy. I lead. But no, I can't. Honestly, I've tried, and I just can't. I just can't do it. The message from my eye to my hand, something happens in the brain, Catherine, that completely screws it up.
I know what it is.
Completely screws it up.
You are looking, but you are not seeing.
Thank you very much. Let's go to Scott. Scott has been waiting for ages. Good evening, Scott.
Hello, Ian. Can you hear me okay?
No, because you're on speakerphone.
So I'm off. 2 seconds, mate. Need to put this plugged in and off.
This ain't going to last long, trust me.
Love it.
There you go.
You hear me?
Right, dump button, please, Sam. Dump button, please, Sam. There's a yellow card. One more of those and you're gone.
Oh, the F-words. Sorry, I heard you saying arseholes and that, and I just assumed I could swear.
Scott, what would you like to say, mate?
Hey, I was actually going to switch your show off, Ian, just before you actually started, because of the song you played. I thought it was a bit annoying.
Okay, thanks for your call, Scott. Thanks a lot. 0344 499 1000 is the phone number. Let's go to Simon. Good evening, Simon.
Good evening, guys.
Hi, Simon.
I'm surprised you let me on, actually, but it's nice to be able to get on. And before I say what I wanted to phone up for, I just want to offer my apologies for anybody that I hurt or offended or upset. And
this is when you called a transgender woman not a real woman, and there was something more offensive than that, and then you went onto a different Facebook group and lied about it, and then when you got called out, you carried on lying about it, and then you said something offensive and then just disappeared off Facebook or something.
Yep, I basically did the cowardly thing and ran away, and I'm not proud of it, and I was in a very bad place, but there's no excuse for what I said and what I did, and I wasn't man enough to admit that it was me, and as I said, I apologise to anybody I hurt, and
well, you can apologise. Listen, you apologise to me, and I'll accept that. But the other people that were involved, you can't really use my show to apologise to them. If you want to, if it's appropriate, you should seek them out individually, because who knows? They're probably not listening to this show anymore because you kind of did it partly in the name of this show, which is what really annoyed me, and made things really, really bad for us when things were really, really bad. Anyway, you made them significantly worse. So yeah, you can apologise to me and Catherine because we're here, but anyone else, I'm not going to allow you to come on and do a blanket apology to everyone, because that's not what. No, not on my show.
Okay, that's fair enough. And I will try and summon up the courage to seek them out then individually. It's a big thing for me to basically a bit of a scaredy cat, to be honest. But yeah, that's fair enough.
Right, what you got?
Right. So I was ringing because you were saying about you weren't sure about the origins of the virus and the Wuhan thing possibly coming from a laboratory.
I don't know if I want to take this from you, because you've got some pretty far out theories about stuff, I don't know if I want to hear this from you.
I'm not going to come out with a theory. All I'm going to say is that I watched a documentary on the iPlayer night before last, and they've done a documentary on coronavirus, and it is fascinating. And if you've got questions, I'm not saying the BBC is always right, but if you have got questions, then you could do a lot worse than to look at that programme they made, because they actually demonstrate how it jumps from a bat to a human, and the theories behind it and everything else. It's not my theory. I'm just saying that it's all there. If you want to watch it, I found it absolutely amazing. It really is enlightening.
All right. How are you doing, man? You all right?
Yeah. I've not left the house since February. Been on university.
You got in early with that lockdown, man. You're a trendsetter.
Yeah, no, my business didn't. Normally what happens with my trade where I am is you have a terrible January, February, and things start to get back in March, which allows you to, pay the debts you've accrued January, February. But obviously with things the way they are, I could see that wasn't going to happen. So I did fortunately get onto Universal Credit before it all kicked off. But it means that I've not not really. I've been to the shop and that, but I've not done anything. Nothing special, obviously, like everybody else. So I'm just waiting to see what happens. But I feel relatively positive about it all. I do think there's some good to come out of this. And I just think that everybody just needs to chill out and hold on and just let it work itself out,
Hang in there, Simon. Thank you, mate. It's nice to speak to you again. Thank you very much indeed. 0344 499 1000. Let's go to Derek. Good evening, Derek.
Good evening, Ian.
What can we do for you?
Sorry to bore you. I just wanted to thank you.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I know, it's very weird.
What for?
I'm saying this on the radio. I'll tell you why. Because this coronavirus nonsense has had me reflecting heavily on my life in the last few years.
Mm.
And one of the things I've been doing today was I called you in 2016 and you put me in the podcast, and it's been making me chuckle again and again and again.
Oh. What were you talking about in 2016?
I was a bit inappropriate. It wasn't a prank call.
Uh-oh.
I was talking about video games and stuff, but you can't cut me off. Because I was a wee bit too inappropriate.
Okay.
I don't mean to interrupt.
So hang on. You in lockdown, you said you have been looking back on your life and really pondering it, but you've got fixated on when you phoned me and Kath up 4 years ago and spoke about video games. I thought it was going to be like some deep spiritual, you misunderstood your relationship with your father or something. But no, it's a phone call you did where you got cut off for being a knob.
I'm looking back on a lot of things. Truth be told, I'm probably missing my mum's dog more than anything. I've been looking at pictures of her, which is a bit weird. But no, do you know what I did? I'll be honest. Oh God, I'm saying this on the radio. But anyway, what I did was I wanted to give people a laugh, and I hate the way I sound, and I embarrassed myself on the radio several times around that period. Not just by joking, but I think I cried on the radio and shit. Oh God, I swore twice. Sorry. I embarrassed myself a couple of times as well. So anyway, what I wanted to do was I wanted to give people a bit of a chuckle. I'm sorry for swearing. I wanted to give people a bit of a laugh.
Yes.
So
Are we talking about the phone call from now or from 4 years ago?
from 4 years ago.
Okay, so you did that 4 years ago. Great. What do you want? What I don't remember it. And
no, I don't remember it at all.
I don't expect God give much.
So what do you want to say tonight?
I just wanted to thank you. That's all.
You're very welcome, Derek. I accept your thanks. Thank you for that. This is Talk Radio.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Felix Diamond Lee on Talk Radio.
Boily?
Yeah. People have got a lot of time to stew on things, haven't they?
They have, though. Let's give Scott a second chance. Yes, Scott, second chance. Scott is back for his second chance. Scott. Oh, Sam, can you put his fader up? Thank you. Yes, second chance, Scott.
Yes, hello.
Right, let's try it again, without any swears. What would you like to say?
I don't want to say anything particularly. I was just phoning up to shoot the breeze with you.
Okay, but you have to initiate that.
Yes, I was just want to talk about I'm an ex-addict and I'm still on buprenorphine. I just wanted to say the way the part people in drugs in Scotland, I think it's a disgrace. I started taking heroin at 16-year-old, so I did, and I was on smoking heroin for 4 or 5 years. And they put me on methadone, and I was part on that for 15 years. And I find that a disgrace. They should be putting people into rehabs instead of just parting people on methadone and keep them.
Yeah, but there is also the certain responsibility that we have as addicts have to help ourselves get clean. It's not entirely up to other people to do it for us.
I understand that. Yes.
And the governments don't know what to do with addicts. They don't know what to do, so they put them on methadone and that's it. You know, there's not enough money spent on rehab, but there's always stuff that we can do ourselves. You know, and it's tough.
No, I've been to a couple of meetings in, but I felt it was the one for me.
Okay, well, that's your decision. That's fine. They were for me. They weren't for me for the first 16 months of me going, and then it clicked, and I managed to give up drugs, but I kept going back because I didn't have any other alternative. I wasn't going to go to rehab. I wasn't, I ruined my career. I nearly lost my flat. I nearly lost my relationship. I stole money from my mum.
Can I ask what your drug of choice was, Ian?
It's irrelevant, really.
Right, that's fair enough.
It's irrelevant. It's whatever brings you to your knees.
No. Yep. So how long have you been clean?
I had 13 years, then I relapsed, and now I've just celebrated 2 years.
Well done. Congratulations.
Thanks, man. But anyone can do it. Anyone can do it. There is an alternative.
I hold my hands up. I'm probably pretty weak building.
Nothing to do with will. Nothing to do with will at all. There's nothing to do with being weak or willed. Methadone is particularly, and heroin is particularly unpleasant drug to come off of, and it is more nuanced in that you kind of have to, you really do need a team behind you that's going to help you drop the dosage. From what I know, it's not something I did, but I know people that have done it.
When I first got pulled into the method, when I got started on 30 mils, and then within a space of a couple of months, I was up to 90 mils, and that was 2002. And I was on the methadone for 15 years, and I eventually got down to 14 mil, and then they put me on buprenorphine, which is Suboxone. Don't know if you've heard it.
I don't know what those are now.
Right, well, they put us on that, started me on 12 milligram, and it took years to get down to 14 mil on the methadone, and then they switched us over to that, and it's far too high a dose of putting on people. I mean, so it took us another 4 years to work my way.
Well, but could you not say to them this is too? Could you not say to them this is too high a dose? Can I start with something lower?
Well, you don't know that at the time. You don't know it's too high a dose until you've started taking it. You know what I mean?
Well, I think we have to accept a bit of responsibility for ourselves, though.
No, I see what you're saying.
It's not, the system is not right, but we do have to accept responsibility for it to a certain extent.
No.
And I don't know, I don't get why people don't get meetings. The magic, the miracles I've seen in meetings I don't get why others don't do it and why it doesn't work for them. I don't get it.
I think the particular meeting I went to in Easter House in Glasgow, and after the meeting, I came out of the meeting, I was talking to some old friends, and they were saying some of the guys were actually running the meeting, were actually selling cocaine. You know what I mean?
I don't believe that for a second. I believe that maybe that was told to you, but I don't believe that was what was happening.
Well, you don't know the people in Easter House in Glasgow.
I know I don't, but I know the people in 12-step meetings. I do not believe for a second that the people that were taking the meeting were selling cocaine. I don't believe it. And if they were, which I don't believe, go to another meeting. There's loads of meetings in Glasgow. If that's the thing that's stopping you going to meetings, that's a bullshit reason.
That's not what stopped me going. It was just a wee something.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it for a second.
So you think I should give meetings another chance?
It's up to you. I don't care. But all I can tell you is they work for me. And I've seen it work with heroin addicts, and I've seen it work with meth addicts, and I've seen it work with...
You're very abrupt.
Oh, I'm sorry if I'm not telling you what you want to hear.
No, it's not that. No, I've never done it last before, Ian. You know what I mean? You're just being a wee bit harsh. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry if I'm not speaking to you in a soft, it'll be all right, let me put my arm around you. I'm being realistic. You're killing... Dude, Scott! Scott, if you want to kill yourself... Scott, if you want to kill yourself, you go ahead and do it, mate. I don't know you. You want to do it, you go ahead and do it. I'm telling you what worked for me. And I'm also telling you, I don't believe that those people at that meeting were selling cocaine. I don't believe it for a second.
What you're saying is you don't care about other people. As long as you're all right, you don't care about other people.
If that's what you want to hear, Scott, that's great. That's great. The way you're coming across is someone who is unable to accept responsibility for your own actions, and you're blaming other people. And now you're blaming me. Well done.
No, I'm not blaming you.
Yes, you are.
You don't know the life I've lived.
I don't care about the life you've lived.
This isn't the way I wanted the call to go in, but just...
The call is going out how it goes. I'm not bothered. I'm clean. I'm telling you how I did it. You're coming up with nonsense.
I'm pure nervous. Right,
so I don't care.
You don't care.
I don't care that you're nervous. No, why should I? You're coming up with... What has your nerves got to do with you not going to an NA meeting and getting clean? Nothing. You're coming up with excuses, Scott.
I'm nervous because I've never phoned a radio station before.
Okay, great. That's irrelevant to what we're talking about. And you're using... Yet suddenly the subject of the phone conversation is your nerves. Isn't that interesting?
Right.
Deflection. Blame.
Right.
Lack of responsibility.
Right. Thank you for the second chance. Right. Have a good night, you and your colleagues.
I'll have a great night, Scott, because I'm not going to go out and score some drugs tonight, mate. And you could have the option as well.
I'm not going to score drugs. I'm still on... I'm on medication.
Okay, well, I'm not going to go to the doctors tomorrow for a script.
Oh, good for you.
No, exactly, but I'm saying you could have it if you stopped blaming other people.
I'm not blaming other people.
You have. You've blamed the system, you've blamed the lies that you were told at an NA meeting, and now you're blaming me for being abrupt. You're blaming other people. You could have a life free from drugs.
You're right.
But you don't want it.
Right. I do want it. I just...
Then put some work in, man.
I know. You're right.
Put some work in, Scott, man. You deserve better than this.
No, I need to go. I'm starting to get upset now, mate.
I'm glad you're getting upset, because that's you feeling, man. That's you feeling. I'm not happy that I've made you cry. I haven't made you cry. You've made yourself cry because you're feeling stuff. Because you know how desperate you are, man. Your life should be better than this.
I know that.
You're a good man. That's no more F-bombs! Sam dumped that. He's a good man. Scott, listen, you deserve better than this, brother. You deserve better than this. I'm being abrupt because there's no point in me pussyfooting around it. I can't, Scott. We've got to go because you've had 3 F-bombs there, Sam. I know you will have got that because you're great. Scott, you've gone because you've had 3 F-bombs, and I can't allow you to come back because those are the rules. But trust me, you are a good man. I love you. I'm being abrupt because I love you, because there's no point in me pussyfooting around this. It just sounds like you're blaming everyone else, and of course there are things, there are factors, and there are factions that have got things wrong. But at some point, we as addicts have to accept responsibility for our actions and for our disease. All right? It's a disease that you have. It's a disease. And you deserve better. That's why I'm being abrupt, because you deserve better. And you can have better. All right? You're a good man. I really appreciate you calling back, Scott, but I've got to let you go because of the F-bombs. But you can call back at another time. I promise. 0344 499 1000. Coming up after the break, it's that silly old sod. What's your name, silly old sod?
Is it Barry?
I meant to bring Sandra's line up. I got the wrong line. But we'll go with Barry. This is Talk Radio.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Hang on. Where is it? Here it is. Oh!
Your spirits are special. We don't want to go there.
Put the fader up, Sam.
We're all stuck at home. Someone throw me a bone, and we will get the special. The last bit don't work.
I'm going to be honest, Barry. Yeah. You're with your, and I'm going to say this with love and respect. The fact that you've not called us for a week or so.
Yes.
I was a little bit worried. I'm so pleased to see your name on the switchboard. I was a little bit worried. I thought you got done for selling hooky coronavirus cures again.
Not again, no.
No? Good.
But I tell you something, though.
Yes, mate.
My anti-corona lemonade, it was flying off the shelves.
Yes, and were you telling people it would cure them?
Yes, of course I was. You know, and I know. It was a little bit of lemon, a little bit of sugar, and some fizzy pop. Stick it in a jar, get Margaret to do a felt tip, label on it.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yes.
I felt like Bill Gates, But with...
Turns out, mate, that's against the law, and also, it's dangerous.
It's called a placebo. Do you understand? It makes people feel better, all right?
But it doesn't make people feel better. It rots their teeth and makes them bilious.
And blow off as well, as it turned out. That's why I had to stop doing it.
Exactly. Well done. Yes.
I was just phoning to say that I do have a batch of that if anyone wants it. And it's going... it won't do nothing to you. It won't cure COVID. Plus, I bought some oil at a knockdown price, and if anyone wants to give me some money, I'm waiting for that to go up. And then I will be like saying out of South Fork in Dallas.
It's got to be worth, because oil, they're now paying people to take oil. It's got to be worth getting 4, 5, 6 barrels and putting them in the loft, isn't it?
There's a couple of buckets. I've got some oil buckets.
Oil buckets?
Oil
Fill the bath up.
I've got some oil buckets. Gonna make a lot of money now.
Of course. Do I remember correctly, oil buckets was your Margaret's nickname when she was younger?
Well, that's rather cruel. Yeah, fat buckets it was really. But...
Barry, say hello to my good friend. I don't know if you've met her before. My good friend, the talented artist. She's all the way from Oop North. It's Catherine Boyle.
Hello, Barry.
Hello, darling. I love your Frenchy accent.
Oh, thank you very much.
Oh, I listened to that and it made me regretful that I married Fatty Buckets. Oh, it's lovely, that French voice, isn't it?
It is very romantic.
It's erotic is what it is.
Oh, really? Is it doing the things for you?
It's doing the very thing for me, yeah. Very much so. Very much so.
You ever made love to a French lady, Barry? Have you? From what countries have you made love to the residents of?
I've made love with a French lady.
Kath will do the voices of your international lovers.
Oh, okay.
So you have made l'amour avec a French woman.
Made a lamb what?
L'amour.
Yes, I had a l'amour with those lovely little potatoes. A Spanish lady.
Oh, I see. You have been having special times with a Spanish woman.
Gosh, isn't it good? Blimey! Now, here's one. This is a curveball because I did make sweet love with a lady from Copenhagen, Denmark.
Oh, okay. They speak quite good English.
She spoke the international language of love, that lady.
I bet she did. Gosh.
Yeah,
Barry, you've been around. I didn't realise you were such an international man of mystery.
Oh, yeah, no mystery. There's not much mystery involved. It was straight in. But, yeah, it's lovely. You're very talented. And can I say, you are a very beautiful lady as well. So,
thanks very much, Barry.
You've got the full package, you have. You really have.
Well, that's just a vicious rumour.
Yes, that was a rumour, and I thought you got that sorted out at one stage, didn't you?
Give me time, Barry, give me time.
Well, you don't think any of my COVID solution, you might be God knows. Yeah.
What's in that anyway, between you and me? What is it?
Look, it's... the thing is, it's a little bit of sugary water, a bit of lemon, and I just went through my cupboards and saw any old herbs I've got out the back, a little bit of saffron and all that, but it will put hairs on your chest, literally, that's what it does. But, as I say, look, I'm phoning up tonight, I'm offering people a little bit of fun, just keep your spirits up special,
okay.
Time to offer a placebo. What's wrong with that?
Well, there's got. I've been thinking there's got to be some way that we can make a few quid off of the coronavirus, and I don't mean in a particularly nasty way. But do you remember Dad's Army, Barry?
Of course I do. Yes.
The Spiv character from that during the war, there were lots of Spivs, and they were heroes. They'd open their jackets and they'd have stockings and kippers.
It's
got to be a modern equivalent of that.
Right.
That we could make a few quid.
Open the jacket. You've got tons of bog roll.
Face masks.
Yeah, flour is the thing you can't get at the supermarket.
Where can we get yeast from?
I bet you could scratch some yeast off somewhere.
Oh, I could. Over my coat is already plenty of yeast in there. Scratch that off. I've got very yeasty in this weather.
Let's not judge. We're all of us locked up. We've all got
all right. So we've got your COVID-19. And what do you call this medicine?
Anti-cove.
Anti-cove. Okay, so we've got anti-cove. We've got yeast.
Plenty of yeast. Hold on, let's have a look. Yeah, plenty of yeast. Yeah.
Any other ideas on what we can sell?
Bog roll, as I say, bog roll.
Second-hand bog roll, okay.
Second-hand bog. Well, not second-hand necessarily, I'll tell you what will make a lovely mask. Margaret's old bra. That will cover your mouth and most of your face.
Cover the back of his head as well, won't it?
And that might double up for a yeast farm as well.
Oh, my God.
Oh, God. I mean, what I'm saying is, when you go out as a family, sometimes you go out for their hours constitutional, you see 4 people, save on masks, just all 4 of them would fit into Margaret's face mask. Give them a bit of anti-cove, some yeast and Margaret's face bra.
You're the one-stop solution, Barry.
You could have one bra could serve 2 people, and couples could walk along. I don't know, cup in cup.
Very much so. And she, I'm sure she wouldn't mind. She's anything for the war effort. That one.
This is what the rumour that went round.
Yeah, well, she done her bit for the war effort, that one.
Yeah, she did.
I'm trying to think those lonely GI.
I like it when I throw something out and you politely nod at it, but then move on quickly because it's not going anywhere. I respect that.
It's what's known in the trade as a comedy cul-de-sac. I let it go.
All right, well, thank you, Barry. Well, listen, it's nice to talk to you. Is there anything you want to sing before we go?
Margaret's doing a bit for the war effort. Margaret's... Nah, I'll let that one go.
Night, Barry.
You had a lovely little stab there.
Week 4 was always going to be bad. Cheer up. Come on, we're nearly out of this.
We're not, though.
No,
Yeah.
no,
No, Barry.
Night, Barry.
03444991000. If anyone's got any tips on how we can make a few quid out of this, 0344 499 1000. We got Will, we got Matthew, we got Kerry. This is Talk Radio.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain, Felix, Diamond, Lee on Talk Radio.
Let's go to Will. Good evening, Will.
All right, mate.
All right, Will, what you got for us?
Hello, Kat.
Hello, William.
Well, I've got I wanted to talk about. You asked for like proof that, or like something against the theory of the whole China lab thing.
Yeah.
And I don't have that. I have completely the opposite of that.
Okay.
But yeah, just a few things.
So you have proof that coronavirus came from a lab?
No, I definitely don't have proof, but I do have like
some speculation. That's what we want.
Yeah, just kind of bits and pieces that I've kind of been following it from right at the beginning.
On YouTube.
No, not on YouTube. Like it's just like I remember when it first kicked off, and I'd like tell my friends there's this mad thing happening in China, and people would be like, whatever kind of thing. But I've been following it a while, and yeah, so like in 2018, the U.S. Embassy were visiting. So this is like 2 years before. Were visiting the Wuhan lab and were reporting back.
Where did you get this information from?
Well, this was reported in the Washington Post, Daily Express, and the BBC.
Okay.
So those articles are still live, where the US officials were visiting a lab in Wuhan and were reporting back sort of extreme safety warnings back to Washington, and that was in 2018. And then this has come out recently because I don't know how they release their information, but this.
Hang on. So what does that prove?
It doesn't. It doesn't prove anything. I'm not saying that I have proof. I'm just saying I have some bits and pieces that I've that have kept in my mind, and that I've just when I was listening to you talking about the lab thing, I was kind of interested because it's definitely something in my mind as well. And I'm not saying I have proof either way, but it's just a few bits and pieces. So there was definitely like security breaches and like issues at a lab in Wuhan as far back as 2018 that were being reported back. And then in late November, the US intelligence were warned of a cataclysmic event in Wuhan in China. And that was late November, so way before this was all reported, was kind of late December. When this all came out, so that was, and that's been reported in ABC News and various other places. So they kind of the US were warned about something mental had happened in Wuhan in late November, which is way before kind of like any kind of on the ground cases were kicking off, and that's kind of public information. And then so the lab were posting job applications for experts to look into coronavirus and bats and how coronavirus is spread quickly in populations.
Tell me where I can go and find this news story right now.
Okay, this one you can find it in the Metro. You can find it in
right.
On the
Tell
Mirror.
me what I need to type in because I want to. I want this. I want to see this news story. The Metro,
as in the lab, the job applications one.
To do with looking into bats and COVID.
Okay, so if you search, I've just kind of had these on file in my bookmarks, but I guess if you search job applications, coronavirus, bats, Wuhan, the Mirror, something will come up. I mean, I don't know how, despite the fact it is a huge news organisation in this country, I don't know how much I do trust the Mirror, but it is a massive
There's
thing.
a thing in the Sun about it here. Wuhan lab posted a job advert calling for experts on coronavirus and bats just a week before Chinese officials revealed they were facing an outbreak. But, I mean, we know that China kept a lid on it for longer than they should have.
Yeah, here's one from the Metro from last Tuesday. US officials warned about dangers of Wuhan bat virus lab as far back as 2018, or that's slightly misleading language, calling it the Wuhan thing. Okay.
I mean, I
listen,
guess what's interesting about that particular article is the fact that, you know, if they were putting out job applications November 18th, November 29th, we didn't, like, the media weren't informed about this until late December, early January.
No, this is talking about December 24th, 2019. It's not talking about...
Yeah, right, exactly, yeah, exactly. So
that's different from 2 years before.
That's probably the US Embassy officials one. There is definitely stuff
No, this is the job advert. This is the job advert one.
Okay, I've read job applications November 18th, 2019. November 18th, November 29th. I mean, you know, again...
Hey, listen, Will, we're busting your balls, man. Will, listen, we're busting your balls, man, because, you know, you could be making all of this stuff up. But yes, it would appear that these stories are out there, and... Okay, so the lab... Hang on. The lab theory is and it's still a theory at the moment, but it would appear to be grounded in more reality than the 5G stuff, which is obviously nonsense, right? Is that where we're heading?
Absolutely right, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I've absolutely no interest in the 5G stuff whatsoever.
But will we, if this, right, okay, so Matt, let's play a little mind game for a second, guys. Come and sit close, let's play a mind game. So China works on a strain of because coronavirus has been around forever, right? But they work on a strain of coronavirus that's highly infectious and causes this COVID-19 disease, right? So they've made it, and they've made it in a laboratory, and either deliberately...
I don't agree with that. I don't think... Well, carry on, but I don't think that's the case.
Oh, go on, what do you think they were doing? They were messing around with bats?
I just think they were probably, extracting viruses from various sources and looking into them, and they may have found one. You know, this is all kind of hypothetical and completely ungrounded, really. But it's not as ungrounded as 5G by any stretch. Yeah. I have no proof on this, but I would say it's what's likely in terms of all the information that I have, and would be like that they were like looking for things and like researching things and taking viruses out of bats, and that they had these viruses that were very unlikely to jump into human beings, and they were kind of looking, and they may have gone to the kind of farthest reaches of wherever and found these viruses and had them in vials, and but the security hasn't been like properly adhered to in that.
But let's assume that happened, right?
Uh-huh.
We're never going to find that out. We're never going to know, are we? We're never going to know.
I don't know about that, because okay, that leads me to my final thing that I was going to mention.
Yes,
is on the BBC website still on the article about the young doctor who died in February. One of the first kind of people to flag this whole thing up, and he died supposedly of COVID-19. Still on the BBC website, if you look on the BBC article about that, they say journalists and doctors at the scene who do not want their names used told the BBC and other media that government officials had intervened. And that is on the BBC website. So, do you know what I mean? So you say we'll never know, but maybe if there's things like that going on that are being reported by the BBC, then maybe we will know someday. You know what I mean?
We know that, though. Like on Twitter, there was a big uproar because he was reported dead. Then the Chinese government said that he wasn't dead. Then it turned out that he was. You know, we know that there's been hijinks there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think.
So then we find out that this happened, right? And we have evidence. We have conclusive evidence that China did this and then ballsed it up, right? And this whole thing is their fault. But then what happens? We're not going to go to war with China. What I'm saying is that there's no effective punishment for this, is there? Because you're not going to go to war with China because they'll kill everybody. I'm simplifying ever so slightly here, as you may have noticed. You put sanctions in, yeah, all right, but sanctions that we're only going to, punish the poorest people there. There's no. I can't think of any punishment.
The big thing from this would be we don't trust them. Well, we didn't trust them before.
Not expecting you to have the answer, by the way, Will.
No, I don't. But I totally know what you're saying, and yeah, I don't. I guess, but then it's similar with life in general. There's no necessarily, it's not written by a mind. It's like there is no necessarily anything. Like my brother watched the Tiger King thing recently, and he said he makes TV shows.
Carol Baskin's a goddamn piece of trash.
Yeah, and he said exactly. And he said, I was talking about it. It was his birthday yesterday. Like this weird sort of online birthday party, which was lovely but very strange, in itself. But he said, I watched it and I was kind of annoyed because it didn't, like I thought it was going to go somewhere, and I felt like they didn't go where I wanted it to go. It was like, well, this is just what happened. There's no.
This has not been written by Stephen King.
Exactly. It is just what happened, and I don't know if there's any answers to this, but I just thought, in your search for proof that it's not a lab, I thought I could come.
Thank you, Will.
Some bits and pieces, but I also wanted to say thank you for signing up to my membership site. Very much appreciated.
Oh no, it's an absolute pleasure, and thank you for withstanding a faintly robust questioning, just because we wanted to, because anyone could come on and say, well, there was a story on the Metro 3 years ago about. So yes, why that was a pleasure. Have any more people signed up? There's a sort of slow trickle, and it's very much appreciated. And I also wanted to say, one of the nights last week, I can't remember, someone rung up, and I just wanted to say, I think it must be, having put yourself out as someone who's so honest on this medium, and sometimes people do ring up, and I feel like they take advantage of that. And I just wanted to say, I hugely appreciate, as a member of society, your kind of honesty in this whole thing, and it must be difficult having people kind of slightly take advantage of that, and I know what you mean. That must be difficult, but you deal with it incredibly well, and Will, big respect to both of you. Thank you, and we both get what you mean, and we both sometimes, privately share those thoughts. But what I will say in return, Will, is when this is over, you and me, man, we're going to have such a great songwriting session, because I've got so many ideas. I've got some great hooks, I've got some great melodies, some really interesting chord changes, and I've got some really powerful lyrics that talk about what it's like to be a man in lockdown, and I think you're going to like them, Will, and I think we're going to get you on top of the pops. Does that sound okay? So, Elder, I'm totally up for that, and completely up for that anytime. Even we could potentially go over I'm happy. I've had a writing session with a 90s rock star the other day on FaceTime. So very much up writing over that. But also, we're going to forget the 90s rock star. Forget that loser. This is you and me, my friend. We're going there. Will, thank you very much. 0344 499 1000 is the phone number. If anyone wants to phone up and chuck a bucket of water over our heads and slap us with a fish and say, my God, you two, stop falling down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole, then please do. But, Kath, do you know what I mean? But.
Yeah.
I can't quite kick this one out of my mind.
Yeah. And I think over the weekend we've all had a little short, sharp shock about some of the revelations coming out of just how badly.
Oh God! It turns out. Did you read the thing? It turns out Boris Johnson is a knob. Who'd have thought?
Well, I mean, but even more of an outrageous knob than we thought in the first place.
Let's speak to Will before the news. Then we got Kerry, and we got Rashid, and we got Robin, and we got Shirley. Yes, Matthew. Matthew.
Hello there.
Hello, Matthew. We haven't got much time. What you got for us?
I'm just basically, are you a fan of musicals?
I only really like High School Musical 1 and Hair.
Hair's a good musical. The stage version, or do you like the film as well?
The film is a stinker, although I have a soft spot for it, but it is terrible, but it's the stage version. I've seen the stage version, I don't know, maybe like 8 times.
Oh, fair enough. Are you a fan of musicals, Kath?
Yes, big.
Are you a bit ahead? What's your favourite musical?
My favourite musical, I couldn't tell you. But I grew up on Rodgers and Hammerstein and all that stuff that your gran made you... Well, I don't know, you probably don't sound old enough, but the stuff that your gran made you watch during the Saturday afternoon. Gypsy, all that stuff.
Oh, fair enough. See, I've been working from home since the whole crisis happened. And I've just been hooked on musicals. I've been on Spotify's playlist of musicals. Oh. And I've recently just come across The Producers. Which I just love The Producers now.
This would be like the recent version from like 10 years ago, not the 60s version.
The one with Gene Wilder in is a good one as well. I do like Mel Brooks as a creator as well.
Yeah,
he's a very good comedy creator.
So have you been belting them out around the house, Matthew?
I have been singing "Springtime for Hitler" in Germany around the house. Yes, I will.
Could you sing that into the news for us, please?
Yes. Okay then.
So you sing a bit, Sam. Whenever you want to go to the break, you go to the break. This is Matthew with "Springtime for Hitler."
It's springtime for Hitler and Germany. Europe, we're going on tour. Is that all? Is that it?
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Please remember me, Martha, my love. Don't forget me, Martha, my dear. Hold your head up, you silly girl. Look what you've done. When you find yourself in the thick of it, help yourself to a better what is all around you. Silly girl, take a good look around you. Take a good look, you're bound to see that you and me were meant to be for each other. Silly inspiration, please be good to me, Martha, my love. Don't forget me, Martha, my dear.
That is genuinely my favourite Beatles song. I love that song. Who's it about, Catherine?
Dog.
The dog. It about dog. I love that song, man. My favourite Beatles song, just because it's so twee. That horn section, the fact it about dog, and it's just like unlike anything they've ever done. It's unlike anything McCartney's ever done since. It's wonderful.
Ah, he's good, wasn't he?
No. He still is good. He still is good.
Young Macca, though, was lovely.
Oh, Young Macca was around that time as well. He was a cutesy. But did you hear his last album, Egypt Station?
Yes, I did.
It's a great record. Take "Fuck You" off it, which I like. I like
Cheeky
that.
monkey, isn't he?
I like that song a lot, right? But take it off because it's silly. We get what he's trying to do. All right, old man, you're doing a song that sounds like the F word. Okay, we got you. But it is it's a great album. It's not a good album. It's a great album.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
This is it. He knows exactly what he's doing. I forgot to try and get. I really need a. What do you call it when you walk into the click and collect? Is what I need.
Oh yeah.
And I could do with a click and collect. I can see myself having to go into. I can see myself having to go into a supermarket at some point before this is over. And I really.
Well, it's not fun.
I don't want to go in a supermarket. Although I drove to the Tesco the other day for a click and collect. Big queue outside the Tesco to get in. Big old queue. Drove past an Asda. No queue whatsoever to get in there.
What time did you go?
That's classified information, Catherine. I don't like to give my travel movements.
I've noticed
10 to 12.
Right, okay. I've noticed if you go more like 6:30ish in the evening, there's no one there.
Yeah, this was 10 to 12. My pickup was 12 till 2, so I got there for 12. And the Asda, there was no one there. And I went there the other day to get some money out, and there was no one there. But it will just be my luck that when I go, there'll be a big old queue of horny old housewives. And it will just get too sexy for everybody to stay COVID-free.
There's no chance of it getting sexy in those queues, looking at it.
Everyone
starts looking at each other with suspicion.
Yeah.
You start seeing each other as obstacles. It's like the most boring video game you've ever played. The aim is to get out without going anywhere near anyone else.
Well, I'll tell you
it's awful.
The most boring video game I ever played was today. When I thought, I want to play something different. I want to stream something on my PC, and I want to play something a little bit different. So I played this Alien Isolation game.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun.
That was boring. Everyone's going, "Oh, this is a scary game, Ian. This game is gonna scare you." And I said, "Well, no, it's not, because a video game has never scared me in my life." And
not even Silent Hill?
No, Silent Hill didn't scare me. No, of course not, because it's a video game.
Terrifying.
And I played it, and it just made me motion sick. It was boring. After 10 minutes, I went, "Nah, this is rubbish. Nah, I'm out."
No, you weren't scared. You just felt sick.
Oh, shut up. Shut up. Then I started playing some Forza Horizon driving. And I did some driving. That's what I'm talking about. I might stream myself sleeping tonight.
Okay.
You want to watch? You want to watch me sleep?
Bit busy. I'll be asleep. I might do some painting tonight. I'm going to do some late night painting, like a proper artist and that.
Stream it. Stream it on Twitch. For all the dirty gets.
I might just like to be by myself. That's the whole point.
No, you don't. You want to share it.
I need to monetize this bad boy.
I'll buy a painting off you.
No, you
I'll
won't.
commission you.
No.
I commission you to paint a portrait of me in the nude.
Can't do. No, oh my God. I can't do people.
All right, Catherine. You can wear clothes then. That's a good one, right?
Yeah, I'll go and put some on then.
Oh, cheeky. Shall we go to Carey?
Please, before it gets any hotter.
Good evening, Carey.
Hi, you guys.
Hey, Carey. Oh, I'm a bit windy pop. Because during that Beatles song, I had some Pringles, and I've opened a can of Coke. I didn't really want a whole can of Coke, but I've opened a can of Coke. I'm in now. I'm in.
Right, okay, Pringles, that's it. Pop, you eat all of them, don't you? Oh, no.
That's the catchphrase, Pop. You eat all of them.
Yes. Well, it's not, but...
Something like that.
Hello, Ian. Hello, Kath.
Hello, Carey.
Hello, lovely.
No, I honestly, the last call he had was Will, with the stuff about China and stuff like that. I don't want to go in there because it's gone. It's happened. I work in primary care, so I'm not in a hot hub, as they call it. I'm not in the hospital. We're just trying to sort of keep everyone going with the blood tests and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And my son's a porter at our local hospital, so he's obviously exposed to everything.
Yeah, of course. Sorry for Catherine's noisy curtain drawing. I apologise, Carey. Who'd have thought that drawing curtains could be such a noisy and rude thing to do? But yet Catherine has done that.
Carry on, you guys.
Sorry, I was just showing the curtains because that spooky music made me feel a bit like I was being watched, like in that bit of Scream.
Do you know what? We've all got to, get through this and have a laugh and a humour and stuff like that.
When you say primary care, what do you mean by that?
I work in a GP surgery as a nurse.
Okay. Well, thank you for that, and thank you to your son. Thanks to your son as well for what he's doing.
No. It's not. You know, I hate all that as well with the clapping and because there's so.
Do you not like the clapping?
People. No, it's lovely, but there's so many people, like in supermarkets and everywhere else, that are. You know, I want it to be everybody, not just it's embarrassing. I find it embarrassing.
I think I'm thinking of it when I'm doing it. I'm thinking of everyone. I'm thinking of the bin men, the post staff, the emergency service. I'm thinking of everyone. But yeah, I get your point. I get your point totally.
Absolutely. And at the moment, we are covering 6 surgeries out of one hub where I live. So there's loads of staff, and it's like we're all like falling over each other almost, like because. We're not taking routine appointments or anything like that. I mean, basically my job is doing all the routine stuff like blood tests and ECGs, stitch removals, all that sort of stuff. So, but there's so many people that are in really like at the front line in hospitals, like in intensive care and stuff like that. And we have been sent emails. That we can redeploy, but our bosses, we are under a different. We're basically under a private healthcare company. We work in like NHS, but they're not letting us go. I think they're scared that all the nurses are going to get sick and they won't let us go and be redeployed. But hopefully it won't be needed anyway.
What can we do for you tonight, though, Carey?
No, nothing. I just want to put people's minds at rest that everything is in place in the community, and I don't want anyone to worry about anything.
No, that's nice. People are. I'm worried, and I'm trying not to. And I know what you're saying. I totally get what you're saying. And that's such a caring. I want people like you working in the health industry because this is exactly the right attitude. But people are worried, aren't they?
No, but listen, yes, of course. And we're just doing our jobs, and we are doing our jobs times 10 at the moment. And we just want people to know that nobody in the community is going to be like forgotten or neglected. And we are doing care plans and stuff like that. And, in primary care, what I mean is not secondary care, which is hospitals.
Okay. All right, Carey. Well, listen, thank you for that. I appreciate that. And I'm sure a lot of people will get a lot of comfort for what you're saying. So thank you. 0344 499 1000. Rashid?
Iain, wagwan.
Wagwan, my friend.
I'm just having a cheese and chili sandwich.
Oh, cheese and chili. You're a dirty boy. You are a dirty boy, Rashid.
Cheese and chili. Don't touch your willy.
Oi!
Excellent rules to live by.
Yeah, it makes sense. And Rashid found out the hard way, or the soft way, this painful way. Yes, Rashid.
Have you ever heard of a, let me get the pronunciation right.
Pronunciation?
Pareidolia. Pareidolius.
Isn't that the bit between your willy and your bumhole?
There might be a couple of different meanings to it, but this one is where you see faces you see images in things, you see faces in inanimate things.
Yeah, but that's what we are programmed to do as human beings.
Okay. Well, I've just saw myself. I'm sitting on the toilet.
Oh, God.
I'm lying on the floor.
You're not eating the sandwich on the toilet, are you?
No. This was just before I had the sandwich.
I hope you washed your hands before the sandwich.
I have.
Okay.
I'll wash them again because
Hey, here's the thing. I only glimpsed the headline of this, right? It would appear that people that Muslims are statistically Muslims. You know the Muslims. Not forget NHS stuff. Forget the NHS stuff. I'm just talking specifically about the general public. That there are sections of Muslim community that are. I think I've read this right. And if I've not, I apologise. That are suffering less from coronavirus than other sections of the community, and it is rumoured it's because you guys are like washing your hands like 5 times a day. You're always washing your hands.
Yes, that is. If you are observing the prayers, then you do your ritual wash before your prayers. So I suppose that can help. But me personally, I think I'm going to end up OCD because I'm quite an anxious person. My default is anxious.
Yeah.
And, I'm getting on everybody's nerves at home and saying, as soon as they come in the house, did you wash your hands? Did you wash your hands? And my oldest son, he said, he went into the bathroom and washed his hands. 3 seconds later, he was in the living room. I said, you washed your hands in that quick time?
No.
20 seconds. And
20 seconds. But you only have to wash your hands if you've been out.
True.
Well,
or you've had a
if you've been
piddle.
to the toilet, yeah.
Have you been to the toilet? Basic hygiene, of course. But the Corona hand wash is only if you've been out. And so when my boys come here, as soon as they come into the house out of their mum's car, it's like, all right, everyone in the kitchen, let's go and wash our hands. And I'll wash my hands while they're washing theirs, just because it's like, might as well. So when they come in, wash your hands. But then they're just, dicking around, eating dirt and fighting each other. I don't make them wash their hands anymore. Before meals, after toilets. That's something that we will be doing for forever, for life. That's the thing I'm going to carry from this. But,
we were taught that it builds your immunity, playing in the dirt and all that builds your immunity.
Exactly. If it doesn't kill you, Rashid, it makes you stronger. Except for, of
unless
course,
it's a bear.
A bear or coronavirus, because that don't.
Peridolias.
So you saw your face wearing a turd?
In the lino. No, I was sitting on the toilet, and another random fact for you, many Muslims, they sit when they urinate as well. Not just.
Could you say, I'm really trying to make this a thing. Instead of saying random fact, Rashid, could you call it a fun fact?
Fun fact, Muslims sit on the toilet and urinate. They do not stand.
And here's a fun fact. Here's a fun fact. That's how I like to urinate as well. That's how I like to sit down and have a wee.
That's great.
Rest my legs, my little baby legs.
Welcome to the.
Whereas I like to stand up.
Welcome to the Brotherhood of Islam, Ian.
I'm virtually Muslim.
Ian, please listen.
Yes. Carry on, talk. Get to the point then, Rashid. I'm listening, and all I'm hearing is about you having a dump and a chili cheese sandwich.
No, but if you see on my Facebook, I know you're a celebrity and you don't look at our Facebooks and that. But
well, don't look at your Facebook.
You can see my actual face in the lino.
Oh, for God's sake!
Staring back at me.
I'm not going to go to your Facebook page because it's a scam. And next thing I know, you'll have drained my bank account. And I nearly said something vulgar then, but I stopped myself because I'm growing as a human being.
Gosh.
Well done.
Can I cut you off now, Rashid?
Yes, please do.
Goodbye. 0344 499 1000. Sam, can I ask you a quick question?
Of course.
Did we do the quarter past break?
Does this answer your question?
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Thank you, Sam. Question answered. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. If you want to give us a call. I had loads to talk about tonight, Kath, and we've not even had time. I've even got my... I thought we could play Articulate, but we haven't had time to play it, so maybe we'll play that tomorrow.
Let's save it for another night. Keep it special.
Yes, save it for another night. Let's go to Ian. Good evening, Ian.
Hello, Ian. Nice to speak to you. I think alien isolation is terrible too, and I also sit down to wee, so...
Thank you very much indeed. There we go. We agree on something. What can we do for you tonight?
Both bases covered.
I'm a bit. I must be honest, sir. I'm a little bit nervous. I called in a few times 2 or 3 years ago, and it went very, very badly wrong. Unfortunately, because
is that because you were drunk and you'd stolen wine?
Do you remember that, sir? Yes. Exactly.
Don't call me sir, because that's silly.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
You were very drunk, you were obnoxious, you blamed us for it, and you'd stolen some wine or something, is how I remember it.
And your memory is totally correct. And I just really wanted to call in just to apologise. I think with the situation at the moment, and to Catherine as well, because I was obnoxious to her too. I think with the situation at the moment, I'm just thinking about life and reflecting, and I'm trying to make good on past mistakes, and you know, you guys are on that list.
Well, that's a very noble thing to do, Ian, and it's appreciated.
I'm just trying my best to be a better person. I had an incident earlier today where I was sitting in my back garden, and my dog came and sat on my lap, and I burst into tears. Just because I was overwhelmed with a sense of overwhelming love, and it just really. Maybe I'm not making any sense, but you know, I've made.
So what's changed?
2 months ago, on January the 31st, at about 11 o'clock at night, I was sitting next to a railway line in the French countryside, watching as each train went past, trying to gather the courage to step in front of one of them. And I never managed I didn't manage to gain that courage, and so I ended up sleeping under a bush, because there's no way to get back home at that time of night, because I was in the middle of nowhere. And you know, the next morning at about 6 or 7 o'clock, when I was heading back home, you know, when you go through something like that, you kind of realise that your life up until this moment has, you know, it's just misstep after misstep. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
And you know, I'm very fortunate that, you know, I'm my partner, who is not really my partner anymore. Actually, we're kind of housemates at the moment. We were together for 17 years, and you know, because of my foolish behaviour, she decided enough's enough, which quite understandably. But because of obviously the lockdown situation, you know, she's tolerating my presence. I don't know where to go after that. What's changed? I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know.
Are you still drinking?
I am. Yes, I am. I'm trying to control it, and I'm definitely better than I was. But you know, I'm still not perfect. I suppose that is a change, actually. You know, I can go 2 or 3 days now without a drink, whereas previously it was every day.
Yeah, but that's just shifting it. That doesn't really mean anything. I don't want to, you know, piss on your parade, but that doesn't really mean anything. As you know, the alcoholics go 3, 4, 5, 6 months without drinking to prove that they're in control of their drinking. But you know,
yeah.
But even seeing, isn't it funny? Even seeing what it's done to your life and to your marriage, and you still can't stop.
It is just overpowering, you know.
Yeah, the power it has over you took you to jump in front of a train and get kicked out of your marriage.
You know, I mean, alcohol has cost me, you know, my business here in France. It's cost me my home in France. It's cost me my relationship. It's cost me friendships.
And you still can't stop.
It's cost me everything, but I can't stop.
Isn't that interesting?
You know, and it's not an excuse. It's, you know, but it's just the reality. All at the moment, all I'm capable of is controlling it to the point whereby, you know, I can get up every morning, you know, at the same time as my as my former partner, my current housemate, and do the things in the house that I need to do.
Okay. Well, listen. I get kind of. Well, I've just kicked a cat. I didn't know there was a cat there. Sorry, Pats. I didn't see you there, darling. Sort of as I was saying to Scott, I'm really tired of the justifications that people make. What I'm hearing is really interesting. Alcohol has ruined your life. And almost every aspect of it, and then I'm still hearing excuses like, but it's ruined my marriage and my business and my health and all of that. But I'm only drinking every 2 or 3 days, and I can do this. It's just you just have to wonder in what your rock bottom is going to be if it's not the loss of a business or a marriage or a house. It's not sleeping under a bush after trying to take your own life. What is your rock bottom going to be? Do you want to go any lower than you are now? Because you will.
I don't think there is a rock bottom. Yeah, I don't think there is a rock bottom. I think, I've almost accepted the fact that, that this is going to kill me.
Okay, well, if that's the decision you want to make. Then listen, I'm not going to tell you what to do because I felt like I spoke to you 2 years ago and shared stuff, and that stuff. Everything I said to you 2 years ago is still valid and still stands. And if you want to kill yourself, then okay, I'm not, but I don't want to be a part of that.
No. I understand. The reason for the call was not really to talk about the alcohol. It was just to try to make amends, really.
Apology is accepted, Ian, and I am very grateful, and I would imagine that Catherine is also very grateful as well. Catherine, would that be not putting words in your mouth, am I, Kath?
Absolutely, but I would much rather hear you happy. I'd much rather hear you coming out the other side and realising that you don't have to live like this.
Yeah, the strange thing is, I don't feel unhappy. There's a sense
You're
of
used to it.
You
don't feel unhappy, but you're not right, are you?
No, I know that. I'm not right. But it's not just the alcohol. It's decision making in life in general.
But do you think the alcohol helps all that stuff?
I think the alcohol allows me to blot out the other anxieties.
You're kidding yourself. You're kidding yourself. It's waiting for you when you sober up.
Of course it is. I know that. The reality is, I'm off the grid here in France. In terms of, I don't really exist here in France as far as the authorities are concerned. I don't really exist in Britain as far as the authorities are concerned, and it's just a very, very dangerous situation that I'm in. And I think that's, the alcohol just helps me sleep at night and not worry about
okay.
those things.
That, with respect, that's bollocks. But that's bollocks.
I know.
Ian, listen, I'm going to move on because we've got a lot of calls. It's really nice to hear you, and thank you for your apology. It's gratefully accepted. There is an alternative. That's all I can say. There is an alternative. But thank you. Let's go to Shirley. Good evening, Shirley.
Hi. Sorry, the phone's a bit crackly. Can you hear okay?
I can hear okay. Catherine, can you hear okay?
Yeah, I'm pretty good, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Catherine said, what can you do about China? I'm not anti-China, but American companies have started a lawsuit against them, a multi-trillion-dollar lawsuit.
Which companies?
Just a variety of them. It was in one of the papers.
Can I just say, I don't think I ever did say what can I do about China, but crack on.
Yeah, the gist of it. But if a company sues you, it can work, because they've done it in Germany. Because in Germany, they shut the coal industry, and the German government was sued. So it can work. But I don't blame China myself, because on one of the news outlets, some American senators were on an intelligence committee and bought and sold shares in different medical companies, so they knew about this virus.
Well, hang on. Wait, Shirley, I've just remembered who you are. With respect, buying shares doesn't mean they knew about the virus. So it doesn't mean that. Shirley, listen, I'm going to say thank you very much indeed. I want to deal in facts if we can, and I wish you the very best of luck, Shirley. Thank you. This is Talk Radio.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Felix Diamond Lee on Talk Radio.
Let's go to Robin. Good evening, Robin.
Hi, Ian. Hi, Cass. You all right?
Yeah, I'm all right, Robin. What you got for us?
It's just one thing about drinking. When I firstly finished my study in secondary school when I was 18, my family held it's like a dinner, inviting friends and family to come to celebrate. I got into college. And on that dinner, I remember some of my relatives asked me, why don't you drink? Saying, they said men should drink. If you don't drink, you don't sound like a man, whatever. I said, no, I made my mind. I'm not going to drink alcohol at all as long as I could. And a few years later, just last year, when I finished my undergraduate, going back home to have a chat with my family relatives, they're still asking, why don't you drink at all? You don't. They're saying, if I don't drink at all, I can't get some better job, I can get friends, I can get partners. That's what they said. And I said, no, I'm not going to drink. And finally, they know I'm coming to the UK. And they said, UK is a country with a huge drinking culture. You're better gonna drink in that country. I said, no, I won't drink. And gladly, I still stay away, 100% from any drinking, any alcohol.
Robin, I am reading a brilliant book, about Bruce Lee. And the Kung Fu movie star, and there's a big box set coming out of Blu-ray Bruce Lee films, which I'm going to treat myself to. Thanks very much indeed. And it talks about how he didn't drink, and that when the few times he did drink alcohol, he would get very, very red, he would get quite hot, and he would throw up. And apparently this is a thing called Asian glow. Have you heard of this?
No, I haven't, because I assume it should be fine for Asian people to drink or for Chinese people to drink, because my family, my dad, drink occasionally, and own relatives who drink every day, which is not healthy at all.
Because I've Googled it, right?
Yeah.
And apparently a third of East Asians, so that's Chinese, Japanese and Koreans, have this thing called Asian glow or Asian flush. It's got a couple of other names as well. And it's like a third of them get this thing where they go bright red, and then some of them will feel nauseous. And not even having drunk a lot, but just like drinking, maybe a couple of glasses of wine or a couple of beers or something will set them off. And I'd never heard of it before until this book. And then I Googled it because I thought, that sounds a bit odd. And it turns out it is a thing. But you are a Chinese gentleman and you've not heard of it.
No, I haven't. Okay. But what you said sounds reasonable, because I think relatively comparatively, Chinese are not that drinking compared with UK people. I suppose. So what you said sounds reasonable. It's just because of the term you used didn't alert me. But I will do some research later on Chinese search engine to see if I can find something about that. But yeah, just two things I try my best to avoid: alcohol and coffee. I never tried both of those stuff in my life. So
coffee?
No.
Coffee.
Oh, get cut this loser off. You've never had... I was joking, Sam. Don't cut him off. You've never... Look, Sam is so well trained, Catherine. He went to cut Robin off at that.
Wow.
Outrageous. You've never tried coffee? I mean, coffee is... I'm drinking way too much, and I've given in, Robin, actually, and I've bought some fresh coffee with my last shop, and I'm making a big pot of coffee, and I don't care. It's not good for you, and it's horrible, but you've never tried coffee? My God, Robin.
That's part of like my family habit. Like my dad and my mom live with them. They never drink coffee in their life, I suppose, because I never saw them drinking. So when I was younger, I saw some other relatives coming to visit my family. They brought some coffee, and they said, "Well, you try this?" And I said, "No, I don't like it." And my relatives said, "Well, you can try it." My mom and dad just say, "Don't." What they told me is that it's not good for my health, and it could possibly get me addicted to the coffee in the future.
You can get addicted to coffee. Yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can.
I had my 8-year-old the other day, and he was sat with me, and I jokingly said, "Oh, I'm going to make a cup of coffee. Do you want one?" And he said, "No, but I'll have a cup of tea." I went, "What?"
Yeah.
He said, yeah, I like a cup of tea. So I made him a cup of tea, and he drank it. I mean, he slurped it like soup. It was the noisiest, most disgusting thing ever. But he drank. Do your kids like tea, Kath?
Yeah, they love a cup of tea, but I make them decaf tea.
Oh, I made him a normal cup of tea, but it wasn't too.
I
too
grew up
strong.
on tea. Like they used to put tea in my bottle when I was like a toddler. I don't say that like it's the way to bring up children. I don't think my parents are ever going to end up on a how-to program. But tea was always.
Everyone be quiet. Everyone be quiet. Listen. Shh.
Sorry.
Hang on, Robin. Hang on, Robin. 1 second. Can you hear that?
Yeah, that's lovely.
That's Patty
Is that
purring.
Patty?
Sorry, Robin. That was one of my cats purring, and I so sorry to. Go on. What were you going to say?
I was never allowed sugar though in my tea.
I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to Robin.
I was just finishing my thought.
Fine.
Now, Robin, you go.
Please be quiet and let Robin speak now. Robin, go.
Robin.
Sorry, just final point about this, and I want to move on to a slightly different thing if I have time. But about tea, it's weird that I seldom drink tea. I come from a country with like huge tea culture, but I don't really drink tea very much often. But I think it's like once in a year. That's what I usually do.
But with respect, the tea in China is not very nice. I wouldn't drink. I wouldn't drink it for all the tea in China. It's not very. It's not very nice. Chinese
Is it
and
not
Japanese.
very nice, or is it not what you're used to?
No, they do it wrong. They do it wrong.
Oh, they
When
do
I
it
was-
wrong. Okay.
When I was working in Pakistan, they give you tea, but they give it to you with warm milk. Nah, it's messed up, man.
Isn't it very, very sweet as well?
No.
It's your preference. After all, yeah, sort of respect that. It's just saying because I don't drink like tea, coffee, or alcohol. It really limits me. I think that's the reason it limits me my chances to meet new people, and possibly that has an effect on me.
No, do you know what? When I gave up, because I don't drink alcohol, Robin, as you may know if you've listened for a bit, and I thought, no, I don't think it does. I think we think our behaviour is odd. I don't now, but for a long time when I didn't drink, I would think that I was odd for not drinking and that everyone else must think I was odd for not drinking alcohol. And actually, most people don't care. There are some that are uncomfortable with it, and that says more about them than it does about me. But most people don't really care. Some people get it that you stop drinking. They kind of go, "Oh, did you have a problem?" You go, "Yeah." But some people just think you don't like drinking, and I think the same with tea and coffee. I don't think it does. It only limits you if you allow it to limit you. Is what I'm trying to say. Most people don't care.
I'm not sure if I have time for the ads, but just
You got plenty of time, Robin. No one else has called in, and I like you. You've got as much time as you want, my friend.
Oh, thank you. What I'm saying about the discussion around the COVID-19, China, and labs or everything around that. I started it was too brief to do that, but I did started a post in a Facebook group full of a station listener. You worked there before. Just saying, I might be the only one who believes China shouldn't be blamed by anyone for the coronavirus outbreak. And the response were huge, and you could guess this. There's all sorts of things there. Some people are very kind to have a discussion with me, and some come to say me. One person said, "You are a bot working for the Chinese government," and other people saying,
"Wow, what's it like being accused of being a bot, Robin?"
It's great. I mean, I'm glad that Chinese AI can be developed in that way. But another person just accused me saying, because I said thank you to people who calmly read my response and have a discussion with me and keep an open mind. I say thank you to them.
Yeah.
So there was a person accusing me saying, it seems that you're thanking people who listen to you, who keep an open mind about the situation, and you are not apologizing for anything. And the person wrote saying, you are a ashamed, unapologetic underdog of Chinese government.
Why should that? Well, I'm assuming that they think you should apologise for Corona personally, which is obviously is crazy. Why should you have to apologise? But that's where we are, Robin. You know, this doesn't really go with it. But it's like whenever there is a Muslim terrorist attack, people want all Muslims to apologise for it, when of course it isn't the responsibility of all Muslims. You know, that comparison doesn't quite work, but hopefully my point it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, Ian, my point about all this discussion is that there is, I feel like it is unhealthy listening to the conversation on multiple radio stations talking about this and reading social media. I mean, it is rubbish on social media to talk about something serious, but I feel like there is no proper discussion on this issue at all. If there is anyone dare to say things like, I think China shouldn't be blamed, or something like that, and there's no discussion around that issue. It's more about attacking that person. And I spoke to Darryl on another day talking about this issue. I asked him a question about, that there was a doctor being widely reported being suppressed, who, because he reported a whistleblower at the very beginning of the whole pandemic in China. I asked him the question about, did he know he was not the first person to tell the situation. And there was a whole lot of stuff behind that. It's not just about a doctor whistleblowing and being suppressed. And it is much more around that issue, and that's not even the case at all. And he said he didn't. So I explained a little bit to him. It was a long story, so I won't do it again. But what I'm saying is there are a lot of stuff that is not been clearly explained, and some of the misinformation is being transferred on media, on major media, even on some of the other radio station show, just about to say the name, without even being confirmed. And that really doesn't help to have a proper discussion, and certainly will lead people to believe, to think that, Chinese government should be blamed. And that's creating...
I don't think, listen, at the precise moment in time, I don't think that China, whatever that is, I certainly don't think you should be blamed, right? I don't think the citizens of China should be blamed. At the moment, I don't think the Chinese government should be blamed. But I do think that we need a full, impartial investigation into what happened, and that would mean, where did this virus start and spread? Did it start in a market? Did it start in a laboratory? And also an investigation into, did China try to suppress the news at the start to the point that it affected other people's lives in other countries? Had they come out earlier? And I don't know if I don't know. I'm just saying that the investigation I would like, if China had acted earlier, would it have saved more lives, and would it have prevented this being a global phenomenon as opposed to a local phenomenon? And until those things have been investigated, I personally don't think we can hold China, and when I say China, I mean the government, I suppose, responsible. But I do think there has to be an investigation. But even if right, my thing's gone. Even if it came out, and this is like a completely made up scenario, but the Chinese government were behind it and they knew all about this and they leaked it and all of that stuff, I still wouldn't blame the Chinese people, just in the same way that I wouldn't like to be blamed for the war in Iraq, nothing to do with me. I wouldn't blame the Chinese people. I would blame those people in authority that were responsible. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course, Ian. I think that's the ideal way of solving this issue, international independent investigation around the issue. But what I'm trying to mention here, sorry about my English, I'm struggling with the words. I'm only saying is that it's really, really hard for me to see any places like your show, and Darryl show, of course, that provides a place to have proper discussion.
I'm chuckling because that's not what, and because I know you listen to a lot of radio, and I always love it when you pop up on other shows. That's not where radio and broadcasting in this country is at the moment. It is all about creating fear, creating division and having a bad guy. And for a long time, we had the Muslims as bad guys. Then we had people that were anti-Brexit were the bad guys. And now, Robin, we've landed the biggest. We got China as the bad guys. And to a lot of people, that means you. That means their Chinese restaurant round the corner. That means the Chinese family that live next door. Because that, and I'm ashamed and I'm afraid to say, is where Britain is at the moment in terms of its debate. It's we need bad guys. And so let's get, I don't know, 1.6 billion Chinese and blame them for everything. And that's horrible.
And what's worse is what I saw, what I heard, is this is becoming an even bigger chamber, like echo chamber I mentioned, where people involved in all this conversation on the media and calling the shows and believing whatever they believe, but forget to even to examine the basic premises of all this discussion and to try to separate the discussion and attacking people. And that's something that I've been worrying about because I'm in this country. Otherwise, I'll be slightly less caring about all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And when I called in another show early on last week talking about this thing, and the presenter cut me off like in 3 minutes in the conversation and saying that he believes because he said he works in the number 10 before, and he said he believes that what I say is not true. And another presenter on that station early on told the nation, saying Wuhan locked down the city, the government locked down the city and built a hospital, but did not treat people, saying the government letting people die in the lockdown, which is, I think this is too easy to be told it's not true. But that information has been come across the country. Whoever listened to them have little information about China, but there's no one trying to, or even have a chance to correct that information.
Robin, with respect, you would say that because you're a Chinese bot.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly. I mean, I'm full of all the AI developed by Chinese government, which is like.
Robin, I have to go because I'm so late for a break. It's so nice to talk to you. And no, you don't have to apologise for. Daryl will be on at 1. We're going to do a little handover with Daryl, actually, Sam. If that's he was messaging me earlier on. He's desperate to get on the radio with you and me, Kath. He's desperate to get on. He's begging me, please, Zach, get us on the show with you and Kathy. I would love it, please. I'm desperate. I went, all right, Daryl, calm down, man. It's going to happen.
God, that sounds a lot like your impression of me.
I know, kid, please. I want to get on the radio on a decent show. I said, all right, Daryl, calm down, man.
He's from
please.
Bolton, though, isn't he?
Well, it's exactly the accent I was doing.
They're more like that.
Right, I was making a really good point about how corrupt and broken British radio is, and now you've ruined it. This is Talk Radio.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
What do you know, Catherine, about Starlink?
They're like a muddy brown bird with.
Okay, Starlink. Elon Musk's Starlink.
Oh, is that when he put a car in the sky?
No, apparently last night, and I was in bed and I couldn't be bothered to get up and have a look. But apparently last night, Elon Musk, the man who accuses heroes of being paedophiles, fired off. That sounds silly, doesn't it? Elon Musk fired off last night, is what? No,
not
he
again.
fired off like loads of satellites into space, and apparently you could see them dancing in space. But I don't.
I've seen on Twitter a load of people taking the mick and saying I saw bugger all. And
right, is that legal? Is anyone allowed to just fire crap up into this beautiful space that surrounds the planet and make it dance? Can anyone? Excuse me, I do apologise.
I don't suppose anyone's in charge of space yet. She's not happy with me. I think she wants feeding. I don't think anyone's policing space, even though Donald Trump made some nice uniforms for some reason in camo green to go with all the greenery up there. I don't think anyone's in charge of space. I think you can do what you want if you can get up there.
So I could fire. Who sent me a video of a naked man playing drums? Have you got this?
Not me.
Video of a naked man playing drums.
Must have hit my naked man filter.
He's in the street and he's playing the drums.
Trousers might help.
This is the funniest thing. Hang on, let me watch this again. He's completely naked. He's in the street, full drum kit. Oh, I'm retweeting that.
I didn't get it. I think it's because it's from someone called Ballbag, who's got 8 followers, so I hit my nonsense filter.
I've retweeted it. Have a watch of that. That's the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. Can you see it?
Araf. Where's that? Araf. Is that Wales?
Yeah.
That's when he spins his sticks.
That's the most incredible thing. And then he stands up.
I mean, it's right. He's next to a marking on the ground that says slow in Welsh, and he is drumming quite slow.
Why is he naked?
I suppose it's one way to keep people at least 6 feet away.
Please, kid, please. Let's come on a radio show that's got listeners, please, with you and Kathy, please. I'm begging thee. And
I said, Daryl, yes, you may. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Daryl Morris.
We'll meet again. Don't know where. It's the northern version. Don't know when.
We will never meet again. The studio is dead. Long live.
You're not telling me you can't hear the difference between his accent and mine.
No, of course not. You're like brother and sister.
We're all sliced off the same barm cake, are we?
I was rocking back and forth listening to the other night when you were debating how to pronounce Hume, which is kind of nearby where I am now. Actually, Hume. I can pretty much see Hume. It's Hume.
Hume. Daryl, we've spoken via the WhatsApp, but we've not used our voices, and I think that's how I like to conduct most of my relationships. How are you? I've fallen asleep to you a bit recently. I've fallen asleep a little bit to Jim Davis as well. I'm a big fan of Jim, so I kind of flick between you two. How's it all going?
That's all right. We can share the love, can't we?
Exactly. Pete, I saw someone getting stroppy with you the other day because you were talking to another radio presenter who's on at the same time as us. And it's not obligatory that we have to listen to all of the shows on this station. My God, imagine if we did. It's nice to flick around late at night.
We're allowed to indulge in real life. We're allowed to see other people.
Totally. And this is this actually is kind of. No, I was going to try and relate it back to the conversation you were having with Robin, but it's not really that relevant. But actually, just the unrealistic expectations that we put on ourselves to only engage with people that we agree with, completely hate everybody that we disagree with. To the tune of wanting to just punch them in the face just because you disagree with them, and only kind of surrounding yourself with the very small narrow things that or that you just listening to one radio station. That's stupid. Why would you do that? And also it's really important that professionally it's really important, right? Because you've got to kind of know what the competition are doing and what's going on and broaden your horizons.
I mean, it's a shame that they closed LBC down because I did used to enjoy listening to some of the presenters on that, but that's just the way
it had run its course.
Very quick, we got a minute. How are you, Daryl? I mean personally, are you well? How are you coping with all of this weirdness? Is everything all right?
I'm very well. I'm at home, which is good. I'm just only down the road from my parents and my grandparents, which although I can't literally see them, there's just something about being a little bit physically closer to them that makes a big difference. I'm good. I'm good. It's nice to be at home. I'm around the cats. I'm finding. I know that you guys are both experiencing this. That the cats are just such a saving grace, aren't they? Just touching the cat and just it's just nice. It feels nice.
That's magic. And you're with if this is too much, you're living with your partner.
Yeah. I'm with Michaela, I'm seeing a lot more of Michaela now, which I think is going all right. It's going. She comes and she hosts the first hour of Friday's show with us.
Oh, this is what I heard was going on. Well, that's insane, man.
Is that a bad idea? Do you think it seems to be going all right?
Because people will go, well, she's better than you.
Yeah, no, they do that already. Have you seen the forums? Have you been on Digital Spy recently? Did you hear the quote? Do you know the quote?
Go on, what was the quote?
A more natural broadcaster than he will ever be.
But also, you love her, so that's a lovely comment. But listen, we have to go.
Yeah.
Daryl, this is so nice to talk to you. I didn't know that it was easy to do this, so we'll do this tomorrow. Stay tuned, dear listener. Thank you, Kath. Thank you, Sam. This is Talk Radio.
Talk Radio.